ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2023 GymACT National Championships. My name is Kevin Riggle. I'm joined today on the call with GymACT legend Carl Meter. We are very, very excited. There are 13 teams represented on the floor this evening in 2 flights. Carl, this is probably one of the, if not the largest college gymnastics meet in the country, maybe in the world.
I think I would have to agree. Yeah, this is a scale that is completely new to the GymACT program, for sure. But even nationally, including the NCAA teams, I don't think that you're seeing quite nearly the numbers that we're seeing here today. This is going to be an exciting meet.
Absolutely. So we do want to kind of talk about some projections. You know, Carl, you and I talked before this all kind of got started. As you guys can see up there in that upper left-hand corner, the teams are getting all ready to rock. They're all dialed in and ready to go. This is a national championship event. This is what these guys train for all day. So we talked a little bit about where we think everybody's going to kind of stack up. And, you know, there are 12 rotations to go, so anything can happen. But, you know, we're pretty confident that the guys that have been on top are going to stay on top for a while. But, you know, something we talked about at Westerns, Carl, was just how incredibly tight some of these stacks are going to be. So, Carl, who are you liking for a podium today?
The 3 big names I have, Arizona, Washington, and Minnesota, I think are going to be my big 3. And then I think fighting for that second and third place, I think the Texas Armadillos at Westerns put up a really strong showing. It'll be interesting to see where they fall. Iowa alongside them.
I couldn't agree more. I think, you know, the superpowers, Arizona and Washington, are going to be hard to touch. You know, they're kind of out in the league of their own. You know, Westerns really threw a wrench in everything I was predicting for this weekend. So I think the Armadillos are here, and I think at Westerns they kind of made an exclamation point. You know, they were a probationary team last year. They were a probationary team last year. They weren't officially on the floor yet. And then they came out at Westerns and like, hey guys, what's up? We're here to fight. And so, you know, up until rotation number 4 of GymACT Western Conference Championships, those guys were actually winning the meet, which was unbelievable to see. So I think we're going to see a great fight for them. I think SC United and Rocky Mountain also have a lot to prove here today.
Absolutely.
Huge announcement in the GymACT community as of this morning. Actually, by the end of this meet, officially, GymACT has a new president. You see him in the bottom right-hand corner there. Mike Burns has become the new president of GymACT. It's a 5-year rotation on the president, and he took over today, and he's going to be fired up. And I think that's going to light a fire under his team, and I think we're going to see one heck of a fight from Minnesota. So keep an eye on them. Some of the other standouts, we have Kansas City United on the floor. They unfortunately don't have a full squad yet, but they're another kind of conglomerate team from all over Kansas City, and they're picking up some steam, so keep an eye out from them. We've got Georgia United, also another United team. That's where a lot of these team models are coming from. They're going to be out here going big. We're going to check in with them on the floor in this first rotation for sure. We've got the Temple Owls on the floor, all the way from Philadelphia. They've been a long-standing team back when you and I were competing, so I think they're also going to be one to watch, and I think we're going to see the same thing we saw at Westerns. I think the top 3 or 4 are going to be really, really tight. I think there's going to be a decent gap, and then we're going to see another grouping of about 4 or 5 teams, and then another gap. So, you know, some of the drama may not be behind who's going to win tonight, but it's how close are those races going to be and who's going to win those races out.
Absolutely.
So as we get going here, these guys have been warming up all day, but because of the march-in that we just did, the Grand March-in, this first rotation, Flight A, is going to receive a 2-minute one-touch warm-up, just to make sure for the safety of the athletes, especially on some of the higher impact events like vault. So starting off today, we're going to see we do have one competitor from University of Illinois Chicago starting on floor, then followed behind them is going to be the entire lineup from Georgia United. The Rocky Mountain Mavericks are going to be coming in, starting on pommel horse. SC United starting on rings. That's going to be a real fun rotation to watch. The Temple Owls are going to be started on vault. New York Alliance, another newer team that's going to be one to keep an eye on tonight, is going to be starting on parallel bars. And then Minnesota's GymACT is going to be starting on high bar. So we really want to keep an eye on this. It's going to be really interesting to see how aggressive these guys come right out of the gates. So Carl, one of the things I love to talk about is, as an athlete, what was going through your mind right now? This 2-minute one touch, you just heard the national anthem, which to me is just go time. It's now you're getting hyped up. What did you do as an athlete to prepare for this 2 minutes?
So at this point, you know, you've basically warmed up all the major stuff you're going through. This is just to get that one final touch on the equipment. So for today, it's a different set of equipment than what you've warmed up on. So it's just to get familiar with the equipment. mentally at this point, this is kind of the no holds barred. You know, you're getting in touch on the equipment. You know what it wants. You know what it feels like. But when it's time to go, essentially, this is just the get warm, right? So in your brain, you're already sort of in routine mode. You know, you're going through the motions a little bit, and then you know the next time you touch that equipment, that's time. You know, that is the touch. So these guys are not doing super complicated stuff during the warm-ups, right? But it's sort of the last calm before the storm, before everything really takes off.
Absolutely, and we are off and running. All 6 events are now live. These are saluted routines. Here it comes. This is GymACT National Championships 2023. Anything can happen. SoCal United starting off with that beautiful iron cross on rings. And Carl, as we talked about at Westerns, GymACT board decided they wanted to see more iron crosses, so that actually receives a 5/10 bump to what's already a C-value skill when you swing into it. So those crosses are going to be worth 0.8 of a point. So we're going to see a lot of them today. Rocky Mountain Mavericks starting off super strong on horse.
And there goes SoCal United with a stuck dismount.
And that was a C-value skill, which receives a 2/10 bump if they stick, which is another huge change to the GymACT rules for this year.
Yeah, that was one of the other things we were talking about at Westerns, is you're going to see which teams are going for the bigger dismounts and which teams are going to be trying to keep the difficulty a little bit lower but really fight for those stuck landings, because those can make a huge difference as the night progresses.
Absolutely. All right, we are off and running. UIC is done on floor, and we are starting on floor with Aiden W. from Georgia United. Georgia United was a probationary team last year. They got into a couple meets, and they are a full-fledged competitive team now, so they're going to be coming out strong. Georgia and New York, I think, are going to be in a pretty tight battle right there. All right, let's see what the Mavericks have for us on pommel horse here. This is Burrows, I apologize. Nice, beautiful swing. Hips are nice and open there.
You can see he's keeping good rhythm as he swings. Good hip extension.
A little loose on that there. Coming in for a dismount. Up to the one pommel. Ooh, that leg just brushed on the bottom of the horse there, which can be a major deduction, but overall, Carl, that was a very nice set for Rocky Mountain.
Yes, it was.
All right, top right corner, SC United. This should be Troy Mendelson from SCU, and this could be a big one for them. Troy is known for just having a very, very clean ring routine. He should be coming in a 9-0 execution here, which at this level, as we both know, is a huge score. Let's see what he's got. This is Troy Mendelson.
Nice, slow Azarian cross. You know that the guys are really strong on that. You can see how slowly they rise up from the back left. That's where you tell you they're using their strength and not their momentum.
Right. Wow, a giant to invert. That was impressive. Huge back upright straddle plunge. You don't see those very often because they did get devalued to a B-value skill, so only worth 0.2 of a point. But when it's done that nicely, it's definitely worth it.
And unfortunately pulls it around too much on the dismount.
But other than that, gorgeous, gorgeous set from SoCal.
I've got Minnesota up on the high bar.
I believe this is Owen Frank for Minnesota. Big Yamawaki over the top, starting off strong with that flight element. Winding up, we're going to see something big here. Here it comes. Oh my gosh, that was a Cassina. I did not know Minnesota had that in the bank. Huge. Here we go, another big flying release. Huge Kovacs. High risk, high reward. An E and a D value skill. I'm sorry, an F.
G. Cassina's G.
Cassina is a G. You are
Cassina's
correct.
a big boy.
This is a big routine, and man, this is where it gets hard. After those big releases, those high-risk releases, your adrenaline's flying through the roof, and now he's got to put down a big double twisting double back and just drops the hands. Wow, Minnesota is coming in big.
That will be, without a doubt, one of the most difficult routines we'll see on any apparatus today.
I completely agree. Temple looks like they just finished up. You see head coach Jesse walking back, big smile on his face. Their rotation is locked in, and they have started their first rotation of their national championships. Back on rings, I believe this is Eric Chan from SCU. Big Yamawaki work there. That's that double flipping element, still holding onto the rings. Holding that handstand, you see his shoulders nice and clear of the straps. That's a big one on rings. So most spectators don't realize that your arms have to stay completely free. Right there, you see him push those straps in. That's going to be a deduction on top of the arms bent. Big dismount.
And another stuck dismount from SoCal United.
SoCal, as we saw at Southwest Cup, SoCal knows how to stick rings.
Moving on to the New York Alliance on P-bars with a very, very impressive clean routine so far. Started off with one of the most impressive peach to handstands I've seen in a long time.
Huge double pike and just pikes it around. This is one of those things we were talking about earlier. So a lot of these teams, especially the younger teams, it's really hard to find your confidence on this floor. No matter how aggressive or how confident you were as a junior athlete, walking out on a floor of a college team is just on another level. All right, Georgia United here. I believe this is Jeremiah from Georgia United. Beautiful front full there. Nice, strong finish.
Now we've got Jude Norris getting up on the high bar from Minnesota.
Yep. I do apologize. I believe Kellen Ryan was the routine we were watching from Minnesota earlier. Huge start value. Rocky Mountain Mavericks are back on the horse after a fall, and he's fighting hard. Beautiful swing handstand dismount from Rocky Mountain.
You see Minnesota really loading up these routines with release moves. They're really, really going big for the difficulty today.
They absolutely are. Like I said, now that their head coach has become the president of the program, I think these guys have some fire under them. All right, things are winding down. We're heading back over to the Mavericks on pommel horse as Georgia United takes to the floor.
Pommel horse is a finicky event to start on. If you can go to pommels first and hit a very clean rotation, it's a very good way to pick up momentum for the competition.
Absolutely, but on the flip side, it can also, if you go 5 routines up and all 5 of them have a fall, it's hard as a team to fight back from that. All right, SCU already has 2 stuck dismounts on rings, I believe. Let's see if they can gather another one right here, because those 10ths are gonna come in handy here. Especially if you look at the top of your screen, these scores are coming in tight.
And you can see him with the open grip on the cross, trying to show that he does not have the wrists rolled under, so he's not holding a false grip.
Correct. Big Yamawaki work from SCU. Very nice LC. I get made fun of all the time for how much I talk about that. Huge layout to Kacha from Minnesota.
And fighting for the giant out of it.
All right, we got some exciting gymnastics. See what happens here. Huge full twisting double
tuck. California is bringing it with the dismounts tonight.
And it's going to come down to those 10ths. He just found another 2 10ths for his team, which for that fall that they had earlier in the rotation, that fall is a point. He just brought it down to an 8/10. Because he gets 2 10ths back for that stick. See him running over. One of the fun things that is happening in the crowd tonight, every stuck dismount, every event has a box of shirts, GymACT shirts, and they are the athletes are getting to run over, grab a shirt out of the box, and throw it into the crowd for the athletes watching tonight if they stick their dismount. So there's a double incentive tonight for all these athletes to stick their dismounts.
Oh, how come we're not out there?
I know. I want a GymACT shirt. All right, this first rotation is winding down just a little bit. You can see all those scores coming in at the bottom. Jude Norris finishing with an 11-3 on high bar. Definitely a little bit on the lower side, but he had some big risk in there. Rings, Eric Scherber.
Like I said, at these championship meets, how do you balance the risk versus reward, right? How high do you go with the difficulty before you start giving up the execution? How do you balance that out?
Absolutely, especially at a national championships. These guys have worked for months, some of them for years for this opportunity. And, all this work started when they were probably 7 or 8 years old at their local gym fighting for an opportunity like this. So as a head coach, you got to manage that, right? If you're Arizona and you're pretty confident in first, I don't think you take much risk. However, if you're Minnesota and you want to fight your way onto that podium, you've got to risk it a little bit. Beautiful crosswork from Marcus here from SCU.
Beautiful strength work in general. He started off with a Maltese, followed directly by 2 cross skills.
Another back up rise to straight.
This guy is
plunge.
real. Okay, so we got a strong guy in here. So now he's gotten through the. Okay.
Very nice routine. And as you saw when he was in that handstand, Carl, I think one of the hardest things, and you were a ring guy, you can definitely speak to this more than I can, but when you're in that handstand, those rings are swinging, which is already a deduction because, of course, their full name is still rings, and that ring tower is swinging and it's moving around and your team's cheering for you and that adrenaline's going. I think one of the hardest things in a sport that most people don't realize is how hard it is to just take that breath, get into an uncomfortable position that you can just hold, find your hold, quit moving around a whole lot, and then push back out to your good handstand.
Yeah, it's a battle, especially after a first half of the routine that's like his, where you have so much strength loaded in. It's going to be exhausting by the time you get to that handstand hold, and you've got to be able to hold that handstand because it is a significant deduction if you don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if any of our spectators are looking for more information on how all these routines are judged, if we're talking some foreign language to you, pop over to the GymACT YouTube channel. We're putting a bunch of stuff up there to try to help people understand this incredible sport because, you know, you and I have been doing this our whole lives. For us, it's very, very natural. For a lot of people, it's kind of a foreign language. So final routine of the rotation right here from SC United. Let's see what they've got. See if we can find another stick.
And again, starting off with the uprise cross for that 5/10 bonus, looked a little short on the hold.
Definitely looked a little short. We're going to see if the judges give him credit or not for that. That's a big one in this competition, is you really have to fight for that credit, because if you don't receive credit for doing an element, if there's too much deduction in it, it takes away the element groups, takes away that 5/10 bonus, and incurs a deduction. So these guys are going to have to fight for everything. Big full twisting double back, big hop and a step. I definitely feel like we're seeing the nerves of a national championships coming out in these athletes tonight. All right, I do believe that completes rotation 1 for flight A. So this is a double flight meet. So we do have one group of teams in the back gym warming up, and we're going to bring them out here in just a minute. But as you see, coming out of this first rotation with some of the superpowers in it, Temple University coming up with a 54.4 out of that first rotation. They did start on vault, but that's going to be a strong score to keep them carrying through this meet. SCU coming out with a 51.1, New York Alliance 47.6, Rocky Mountain right behind them with a 46.35, and they started on pommel horse. That's going to be a solid start. Minnesota started on high bar and is at a 46.2. That's going to be a fun battle to watch, with Georgia United rounding out the 6 teams currently on the floor with a 34.85. So bringing out the B rotation, the B flight, we've got Arizona State going to floor. That's going to be a big one. That's somebody we're going to watch all night long. Going to pommel horse, we actually have 2 teams. We do have Kansas City United, which unfortunately does not have a full team on the floor tonight, but they do have a few athletes out here, so we're going to keep an eye on them and watch what they're up to. And Kansas City is one of those teams I'm very excited to watch grow over the coming years. And then the brand new rebranded formal NorCal United, now known as the Bay Area Bandits, are going to be starting on pommel horse with a full squad. They're going to be another one I want to keep an eye on tonight, with Iowa going to rings, Washington starting off on vault, seeing if they can climb their way over Arizona to win a GymACT title that they haven't won in a very, very long time. But we did see at Westerns, they are hungry for it. Texas Armadillos are going to be going to P-bars. That's going to be a very strong rotation and a great starting place for them, with Northern Illinois University coming in on high bar. This is going to be an exciting rotation. 2 of the big superpowers are in it, and some of the upsets are also in it. So this B flight is going to be a fun one where a lot of things can happen.
And speaking of those 2, Washington and Arizona are both starting on most likely some of their strongest events. Vault and floor are generally the higher scoring events of the 6. Arizona and Washington both on their respective events can put up, I think, somewhere in the mid-50s at least.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a fun fight.
And alongside
Dylan taking to the parallel bars for the Armadillos.
And parallel bars for the Armadillos is one of their strongest events at Westerns. I think they put up some very impressive routines.
Big Kazumatsu for Washington coming out strong from Riley. On floor, crowd favorite Jackson Harrison from Arizona State. Keep an eye right there. He is going to start out big right here. Tucked double-double. Small step. Looks like he might have gone out of bounds, but that's only a 1/10. Not the end of the world. Gabe Fry taken to the rings for Iowa. And Jackson is known for this right here. He puts the artistry back in men's artistic gymnastics. Whip to 2.5. Gabe Fry up in the upper right-hand corner for Iowa. Let's see if Iowa can start with a stuck dismount here. Nice giant work, staying calm in that handstand. Full twisting double tuck with a small step. Strong start for Iowa.
And moving over as Washington puts up their second Kazumatsu vault. Little bit sloppier in the air than the one before, but still going to put up a solid score.
Absolutely. He was definitely tucked, and this is one of those things where it's going to get real subjective for the judges. You know, are they going to give him layout credit or tuck credit? Because that's a big difference. It goes from, I believe, a 12.4 to a 14.0. So if he tucked too much, that's going to be huge deductions. But we're going to see what the judges are going to do with it.
Now watching as Arizona finishes up their first floor routine.
Solid.
And what a beauty that was.
Solid start from Jackson, and a stuck dismount coming out strong for Arizona.
Iowa preparing for their second rings routine.
Elias Sharp from Washington. This has been a big vault for them all season. Solid double full with a small step back. Very, very strong from the freshman. He might be a sophomore.
I am actually not sure.
All right, NIU on high bar. This is Kurt Lawrence. KCU taking to the pommel horse there, as you can see. Brand new GymACT team there, swinging strong. Let's see if NIU's got their first stick of the competition here. Nice Adler there. 13.75 for Jackson Harrison on floor. That's going to help Arizona get right out on front.
And there is a stuck dismount on the rings.
Small step from NIU on high bar. 13.95 from Elias Sharp on floor, or I'm sorry, on vault.
And the Texas Armadillos with a stuck C dismount on the parallel bars. I believe that's 2 routines and 2 sticks for them.
I believe so too. They are, I think, how strong they came out at Westerns just charged them up. You know, they're a young team out on the floor, but they went 3 events winning the Western Conference Championships right out of the gates. And, you know, a bunch of 17, 18-year-old guys, that's going to fire them up like crazy. This is Andrew Fincher from Arizona on floor. Bay Area Bandits ready to start their first routine with Andrew up on pommel horse. And man, as a brand new GymACT team, this would be a tough spot to be in. You want to come out super strong, and you know, you've got to calm the nerves right here.
And now we have Andrew Lehman from Washington preparing for his vault. This is going to be a big one.
All right, Washington starting off really strong on vault. Let's see what they've got right here. Big 2.5.
And a nearly stuck cause 1.5.
Gosh, that was beautiful. Such a nice routine. So much gymnastics to watch right here. These guys are fighting so hard for every single 10th. Iowa coming in for a dismount. Big full twisting double tuck. And that's how you fight for a stick right there. I believe that was Rafe from Iowa. NIU, I believe that was Zach McHugh. Nice solid dismount there. Caden from Arizona coming out strong right here. Very nice front whip to double front.
Caden's a powerful guy, a powerful tumbler.
I was about to say, if the term dynamite comes in small packages, Caden would embody that 100%. Very, very powerful. Not a super big guy, and I think that's where a lot of his power comes from, honestly. Washington finishing out their vault lineup with a solid Kazumatsu. All right, we'll see what Bay Area Bandits are going to start with. Andrew finished off strong for them. And that's another stick for Arizona on floor. All right, Cole Jans from Iowa on rings, showing off that cross, getting that nice long hold on that. Very, very good control on that.
It's going to be very important to show those long holds there.
Bay Area starts with a 10.55 on horse. They do get to drop one score in today's competition, so you know that's not the end of the world, and it's not a terrible safety score. Here we go. We got a bunch of dismounts coming in. P-bars, I believe this is Sergey on P-bars for the Armadillos. This is a big P-bar routine for him. Lots of power action. Nice to pelt, keeping his legs free of the bars there.
Iowa fighting to keep that foot down on the dismount. Doesn't quite get it. Otherwise, very nice routine.
Sergey, big dismount on P-bars. And just a 3/10 step there. Solid routine for the Armadillos.
Bay Area trying to regroup after a fall here on pommels.
Floor, this is Elliot Foster from Arizona.
All right, and a good finish there on pommels. Swung the handstand up really nice.
Yep. I believe that was Albert Chang from Bay Area. And you know, one of the things we talked about at Westerns is being a younger team on the floor, it's really hard to control all that exciting energy and keep it really, really focused. Oh, interesting. If you're looking at pommel horse right now, it looks like Albert did not receive credit for his dismount. Judge called the coach over, let him know it looks like he is going to have to repeat that dismount.
Well, he must have shown support on the leg as he came up, which I didn't quite catch from where we're sitting.
I didn't either, but that's way, way better. Very, very strong finish from Albert, and that is hard to do. You know, you think you're done, you're headed over the corral, you're giving all your buddies high fives, and then all of a sudden you get called back to do a dismount. Very, very impressive.
Moving over to an impressive routine here on rings.
I believe this is Raven Anderson.
So this is, I believe, his second Maltese of the routine and an I cross there in the middle.
Solid routine. If he can lay down the end of this routine to a dismount, it's definitely going to help Iowa climb their way back up top.
Look at the extension on that planche hold.
NIU, Micah missed his pike to Kachev, had to get back up. And again, having that confidence to jump right back up is absolutely incredible. Full twisting double tuck. Small step on the dismount for NIU. Strong start for them. Big double layout from Iowa. Small step. And on parallel bars, this is national team member Dallas Hale. This is going to be a big one right here. Let's see if he can finish off strong for the Armadillos.
You knew from the windup on that uprise that was going to be a big dismount.
Wow, and that is a solid stuck dismount for the Armadillos. Dallas Hale coming out strong, showing that he is ready to take on the GymACT circuit. All right, earlier we saw Caden, and this is his twin brother Ethan on floor from Arizona. I can't imagine how awesome it must be for these two brothers to get to come out and compete together in the sport they love. Bay Area Bandits fighting hard, fighting back from that fall earlier.
And finishing a very nice pommel routine. That swung very nice all the way through.
Yep, Evan from Bay Area picks his team back up. That was incredible from them. That's gonna help a ton. You see the Armadillos showing up on that top right-hand corner of your screen. They're just kind of poking their head out, saying, "Hey, we're here," and you know they're going to be fighting hard here. All right, everybody's got at least 3 scores in, so the standings at the top are fairly accurate. They're gonna shift a little bit as we get the next couple of scores in, but these guys are out here fighting like crazy, and this is one of the things I absolutely love about this sport. Is at this point you can see Dallas Hale, if you're looking at the bottom left-hand corner there, throwing that T-shirt all the way to the top of the stands. I love it, but the heart in the GymACT athletes, because all these teams are self-funded. whether it's by the generosity of a local gym by just letting them train there for free, or it's fundraising efforts of the team, or whatever it may be. So these guys, when they walk out here, none of these guys are on scholarship. None of these guys really have anything handed to them. Not that that's a terrible thing or anything, but they've just got a little more skin in the game. They've been fighting for the opportunity, and they're here not because somebody's, they don't need to be here. It's actually a trial and tribulation on their life to go out of their way, to go off campus to train maybe, or to show up to fundraisers, and you see it in the routines. Hunter from Arizona, big mistake as he forward rolls out of bound there, but they do have 4 solid floor routines out. So this could be the one they get to drop. All right, Braden from Texas Armadillos taking to the parallel bars with their final routine. And, Carl, I think Braden just has to be carrying all that energy that Dallas just put out on those P-bars. He hit such a strong set. It's so much easier to go out there and hit when you know the guy in front of you hit hard. You want to just continue on what they did.
Absolutely.
All right, Bay Area Ezekiel taking to the horse here. Strong finish from the Armadillos. Nice solid routine for Bay Area.
And here goes Arizona, wrapping up their last floor routine of the rotation.
He had a rough start there. Hunter had a real rough start, but man, you can't be mad about a routine that sticks. All right, we have one more athlete of this rotation. This is Andrew Fairchild from Bay Area. Top row, dead center on pommel horse. Let's see how they can finish their first rotation of their first ever GymACT National Championships. And if you look at the top of your screen while waiting for this pommel horse routine, those top 3, look how close they are. Less than 0.5 of a point. 0.05 separate first and second, and only 0.5 separates first and second. I'm sorry, second and third and first and second. And then you look down, and those Texas Armadillos, they're only another 0.5 down there. So those top 4 are really, really close in there. All right, let's see what Andrew Fairchild has here for the Bay Area Bandits.
Starting off with some full twisting leg work.
Little pike in the circle.
So now as he continues to swing here, you're going to see he's picking up a little bit of deduction on each swing with the positions, but he stays on the horse, gets through his dismount. And a lot of times, staying on the horse is just half the battle. If you can just do that, you're usually ahead of about half the competition.
Yep, and he's going back to the chalk bucket. It looks like, again, they may not have received credit for that dismount. Yep. Coach sitting there talking to him, and again, after something like that, you're allowed 30 seconds. And this is one of those very interesting things about pommel horse. There's not another event where if you don't receive credit for the dismount, you get to go up and do it again. So taking that 30 seconds, calming the nerves, and being able to jump back up is extremely difficult. Strong start for Bay Area. All right, I do believe that wraps up rotation 1 from Flight B. And as you can see in the top of your screen there, the standings, Washington coming out strong with a 54.9. That is a huge individual event team score. They are coming out saying, we are here, we're in this fight, and we're not going quietly. Temple, honestly, is the surprise for me right now. I did not have Temple University in this fight this early, and they're sitting strong with a 55.4. Again, started on vault. Vault always has a little bit of a sway to it. The top 2 teams did start on vault. But, Carl, we talked about it earlier. When you look up at that scoreboard, when you rotate out and you see your team up there, and you're like, oh my gosh, we're in this, that energy picks up and it carries through. So starting on vault, real strong rotation for those 2 teams.
Now, it'll be interesting to see how these standings shift as each team kind of passes through. Now, what is, in my opinion, the biggest 2 events, pommel horse and high bar, are generally the ones that are going to have the most impact on standings overall.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's also really important to note that, we just finished the first round of competition because there is an A and B flight. So at the end of this round of competition, that scoreboard is going to look very, very different because the 6 teams that are on the floor right now are going to have a very, very they're going to have an extra event in. So we'll be talking about team standings a little bit more at the bottom of each rotation. So we are bringing it into the top of rotation 2. Minnesota is going to floor. UIC and Georgia United are taking to the pommel horse. The Rocky Mountain Mavericks are going to rings. SC United is going to vault. Temple University is going to parallel bars. New York Alliance will be taking on high bar. All right, they've got the first round jitters out of the way, Carl, and now is when we really find out what teams have mentally and emotionally, what it takes to settle into a national championships like this.
Now, I think that we can expect a pretty strong vault rotation here from Southern California. Put on a very good showing at Westerns.
I would agree with that. And we've got a couple of real big vaults coming from SC United. Don't want to spoil anything, but we're definitely going to keep an eye on that bottom left-hand screen.
All right, we have most events underway here. SoCal starts out with a nice clean Yurchenko full. Yurchenko's not a vault entry you see too often here on the men's side.
All right, Kakoa Taylor from Minnesota coming out strong. Huge 2.5. Timothy Starrook from UIC coming in for his dismount on pommel horse. Solid set. Big full twisting double back in the background of that video from David from New York Alliance. Solid start for them. Nathan from the Mavericks starting off strong, hitting his giant work on the rings. With Max Perez from Temple starting off their second round. Here we go from from SC United. Big double full from Eric Chan. All right, Georgia United taking to the horse now. They're going to try to find some ground here as they're out of the top 6.
And a nice stuck dismount on the parallel bars.
That was from Max Perez. Very, very nice. Solid start from Kakoa from Minnesota. All right, New York Alliance, Ryan Dugan. This is going to be a fun routine to watch. SoCal United, Troy Mendelson on SCU down there in the bottom left-hand corner on vault. Big hand double front.
Now, big question, did he get his feet down before his butt?
Yep.
Before he sat.
If he sits down before his feet hits by the judgment, it's going to be no credit. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do with that vault. Looked good and then just came up a little bit short. All right, solid routine from the Mavericks here. This is Caleb. Swinging to that handstand, hitting that. It's not an element group, but it is a requirement. Solid double back. And you can hear the Mavericks loud. They are an exciting team to watch. I love their team culture. Hayden from Minnesota taking to the floor. Big triple full, but hopping around. Definitely looks like the nerves are, wound up a little bit. He's got to settle in here as he comes into his passes.
All right, and here goes Temple on the parallel bars.
Another big double full from SCU. So Stefan from Temple, solid start. Ben from New York taking to the high bar.
And Mendelson, it appears, did get credit for his vault, even with the fall, scoring a little above a 13.
There's still a solid start. If you saw that dismount from Ben from New York Alliance, the Kovacs dismount where they spike and pop a Kovacs over the bar and just don't catch it, it's a solid dismount for them. SCU bringing up their final vault right here. Oh, I thought he was going to stick that. Solid vault rotation for SCU. All right, this is Gavin from the Mavericks up on ring. Super strong. Very, very nice straight planche. Love the rhythm on that into his front uprise, hitting that element group. That B strength from her B swing move, breaking up the strength. Look at that press, completely free of the straps. That is hard to do.
Showing good control of the rings as he goes into these handstands, winding up before the dismount, most likely.
And no dismount, just keeping an eye. I believe he had a knee injury at the beginning of the season, so they're keeping him safe even here at National Championships, getting ready for next year.
So there's something to be said then, if being able to stay in lineups even with an injury like that, it goes to show you just how strong he is on that event.
Absolutely. All right, Aaron from Georgia United on the pommel horse. Oh, just pikes up that swing as he comes over the horse. That carrying action and that Stockley action are both so hard because you have to be so patient over that one pommel. And it's real easy, especially when you're swinging well, to try to rush in and grab that other pommel. That's exactly what he did.
And that's when I know too well from experience. That more was the bane of my existence for a long time.
Zach Raymond from Temple. Let's see if he can find a stick here. And
it
he
appears
does.
he can.
Man, I don't know if he can hear me, but he answered my question real fast. All right, Kellen Ryan on floor for Minnesota as Aaron finishes up from Georgia on pommel horse.
Now, it would seem so far that I think we're already seeing more stuck dismounts at the end of routines here than we did at Westerns.
Absolutely.
It seems like a lot of these teams are a little bit more dialed in than they were a few weeks ago.
I would definitely
And that's to
agree
be
with that.
expected. You know, this is when you want to be peaking. This is when you want to be at your most refined. Kellen Ryan with a nice Fedorchenko there on floor. Good amplitude, good height off the floor.
Small D bend, but definitely still right side up on that score, which means that his difficulty received for the element is greater than the deductions he took on it. Kyler from Mavericks, definitely a strong guy to keep an eye on. Kellen Ryan, small step on that dismount from Minnesota. All right, Aiden Whitehead from Georgia coming in strong. Georgia's had a little bit of a rocky start here. Let's see if he can find a nice solid set for him here. Nice swing. Let's see if he can keep his feet free, and he does. Very nice set from Georgia United. They needed that for sure.
Moving on to a nice routine here over on the high bar. Winding up for another Kovac style and just a little bit too sharp, a little bit too long on the throw.
Yep, that was Ethan Rio on high bar for New York. All right, Kyler just finished up on the rings for the Mavericks. Solid set, just a little rough on the dismount. All right, Alex from Temple taking to the parallel bars. As Jude from Minnesota takes the floor exercise.
Nice peach to handstand on the P-bars, followed by a Diom. Didn't quite mark the handstand afterwards.
Yep, definitely looks just a little rattled there on P-bars, but he finds that hold, and he's locked right back in. That was a great use of his strength. He has to hold that handstand anyways, but you can definitely tell he took it as a mental break also. Let's see what we got here from parallel bars and high bar, both coming in for a dismount. Huge full twisting double
finish
layout.
from New York Alliance.
Temple, I believe that was a front double full, and he just stumbles it back, fighting his absolute hardest to stay on his feet, and stumbles it off the mat a little bit. Other than that, great routine. All right, we're winding down Flight A, rotation 2. Jude Norris, solid stuck dismount on floor. All right.
And here comes Dyson Adsit for the Mavericks, up last on the rings.
So who's got? Mavericks have had a pretty solid ring rotation so far, but they definitely need a nice clean set here. 12-8-5 from Kyler on rings is definitely going to help him. Solid swing handstand, just camping. He's confident and strong, coming into his dismount, full twisting double tuck.
And here goes the stick.
Gosh, is there any better feeling on this planet, Carl?
I don't believe there is.
I have done lots of very silly things trying to chase that feeling, and I don't think anything feels as good as that. Jacob Biller taken to the parallel bars for the Temple Owls.
Nice Healy to start.
Brandon Kim taking Minnesota home with his final routine on floor. Big double tuck from Temple. Solid stick, or solid dismount with a small step. Kim finding his landings, looking real solid here on floor. Which they definitely have. 1 or 2 routines that they'd love to be able to drop. So Brandon is doing his job for his team here as he comes in for his dismount. Nice double tuck, small step back, but definitely minimizes that landing, which is so hard to do. Wow, this routine just doesn't end. I thought that was going to be his dismount.
So did I.
It is packed in, but we haven't heard the bell yet, which means he's still under that 75 seconds.
All right, and that'll do it for Minnesota on the floor.
Definitely a solid floor set, but, you know, Carl, we've talked about the fact that we're seeing a lot of stuck dismounts, but I haven't seen an absurd amount of stuck floor passes. And floor, that's what it comes down to. You know, you do 4 or 5 passes all with a 1 or 3/10 hop on them. That adds up fast. You give away a lot on floor and landings. All right, Nate from Temple finishing out this rotation right here. Huge amplitude on that straddle cut from upper arm. Big double back with a 3/10 step back. Solid set from Temple right there. All right, Flight A has wrapped up rotation 1. And again, if you're looking at that scoreboard at the top, remember this is Flight A. So they have an extra routine in their team score right now. But Temple staying on top with a 104.85. All right, we're winding down. We're getting ready to rotate. Headed into rotation 2 from Flight B. Northern Illinois University takes on floor exercise. Arizona State Gymnastics taking on pommel horse. That's going to be a big one for them. If they can get through horse strong, they're going to carry that momentum all the way through. Kansas City United and Bay Area Bandits going to still rings. Iowa GymACT going to vault. It's going to be another big rotation for them. Washington going to parallel bars, another strong event for them. They could really pick up some steam here with the Texas Armadillos going to high bar. This is going to be an action-packed rotation. So one of the other things I do love to talk about is just the energy of the team in a meet like this. You know, you have one good event, it can just carry the whole team through. But on the flip side, you have one routine that you were counting on. The whole team knows where their superstars are, right? Like we all knew when we were on team, like we knew that we needed certain routines to hit because they carried so much weight to the team score. And man, you know, Carl, how do teams deal with that if one of those big routines misses? How do you
it comes down to really the team captain, the guy that's kind of the designated leader of the team, being able to rally everybody back from that and, you know, focus on what you have left to do and not what's already been done. You know, and sometimes even whether it's good or bad, you got to be able to kind of keep yourselves on your toes, keep yourselves focused on what is immediately in front of you that you have to take care of. Competitions are a marathon, not a sprint, you know. And events, single events, whether they go really well or really not. You know, you got to be able to take that as it is and kind of move on to the next. Keep the momentum if it's good, leave it behind if it's bad.
Right. And I think one of the things you just touched on is you've got to be able to go one event at a time, even if they're good, because one of the things we'll see is, you know, a team will be struggling a little bit. They'll get one really, really good event and they come out to the next one and you can tell they have a lot of nervous energy that they come in and they start trying way too hard because they get that really, really good feeling coming off a strong rotation and they start making mistakes because they're just a little too amped up. So it's going to be real interesting to see how these teams handle that as they carry their way through. All right, the announcer just gave control of the event to the judges, so we are off and tumbling here in Oklahoma City. Jared Enyard from NIU taking to the floor exercise. Aiden Myers for Arizona State taking to the pommel horse. Kevin Jansen from Kansas City taking to the still rings. Gabe Fry starting off Iowa's GymACT on vault. Everett O'Donnell starting off Washington on parallel bars. And Dylan McConkey from the Texas Armadillos. Let's see what we got going here.
Arizona looking very nice on pommels so far. Keeping his swing moving nice, keeping good extension into circles. The execution has been there. The dismount swings up nice, and he fights it back over the correct side of the horse on the dismount. That is a strong start for Arizona.
And that's why Arizona is going to be hard to find. They are going to climb their way to the top, and they're going to do it quick. And, if any of these teams want to fight with them, they're going to have to come out strong because Arizona's fired up right now. And I think some of that was they did not have the best Western Conference championships. They did end up pulling it out at the end, but they had to fight tooth and nail. And talking to the coaching staff, they really didn't want to do that coming into this meet. They didn't want another fight on their hands. They wanted to come out strong and just kind of shut everything down. Just this is their division. This is what they want.
Washington as well, starting off very strong on the parallel bars. Everett O'Donnell, their leading athlete, posting quite nearly a 13, just shy of a 13.
And that is impressive on parallel bars.
That is a big number on parallel bars.
All right, Iowa starting to have some fun with the competition there as Jonathan jogs back from his vault. And those are the guys you need, the guys that are just out here and they're loving what they're doing. You see the energy from him. I love to see that. These guys are out here doing a job, but it's a job they love. Arizona State fighting hard to stay on that pommel horse.
All right, so we've seen some nice flight skills over there on the high bar from the Armadillos, Carlos Hernandez.
Arush from Arizona State fighting hard to stay on the horse there. And sometimes those routines that maybe aren't the best, but man, they fight like crazy, sometimes are the ones the team needs. Nolan from Iowa GymACT putting down a very nice cause half.
All right, Washington with a fall on the dismount on the parallel bars.
Very nice front uprights to L seat from KCU. As I said, check out the GymACT YouTube channel. Talked about that this morning when we posted a video about how rings is built. That is an element group. It's a group 3 swing to strength. Very, very nicely done to a nice big dismount. Can he hold the stick?
Yes, he can.
Fantastic. KCU out here fighting hard. That was Asa Thompson. See what we got from NIU here on floor. Huge double back. And NIU, Carl, is one of my favorite teams on floor exercise. Keep your eye in that top left corner. This is called men's artistic gymnastics, and NIU puts the artistry back into their floor routines. It is super fun to watch. Hunter Burnett from Arizona on the pommel horse. Definitely a powerhouse we're going to watch today.
Arizona so far looking like they are not going to have a repeat rotation that they did had at Westerns.
Absolutely. Fighting hard. You can hear them loud, too. I love that.
Nice swing up on the dismount. That's how that's supposed to be done. And here goes Andrew Lehman for Washington on the parallel bars.
See what he's got here coming back off of a fall from his teammate. He's got to kind of put that out of his mind. One of the best things, one of my favorite things to tell a teammate after they fell, they came back over the chalk bike. I just said, hey, I got you. I'm going to pick up right here. I got it. Don't even worry about it. That way they can just kind of let go of that mistake and be ready for their next routine. And, it proves that whole team point as they push through here. Strong L seat from Andrew. And it's the basic moves like that that really set the difference between a good routine and a great routine. Hunter Burnett posting a 12.85 from pommel horse.
Big vault from Iowa.
From Iowa, posting up a big double full.
And a nice stuck dismount from Andrew Lehman. That is exactly the routine that they needed.
He definitely picked up that fall. That was fantastic. That's what you want to see in these competitions, is these guys working together, having fun, and doing the sport they love right here. All right, Dylan Huntmeyer taken to the horse from Arizona State. Big pommel horse worker. Definitely want to keep an eye right there.
Definitely showing a good job at it, giving good extension to that leg work. That can make the leg work is a huge, huge part of pommels. You see so many guys just kind of go through and you don't see the amplitude, and they will get absolutely killed on it. Absolutely, because those toes do have to pass above their ears as this single leg travels over the horse. KCU on rings, man. We really haven't been focused on them. They're not a very big team, but these guys do know how to swing some rings. This is Chance from Kansas City. Going in B-Giant into a C dismount to a solid stick. That was gorgeous. Great job from KCU. And moving on to the Armadillos on high bar, wrapping up a very high-flying routine. Lots of flight elements there. It was Kelly North. Very, very strong routine. Those Armadillos are going to be fighting hard. I think they're going to be putting some pressure on the big ones.
Micah Puckett from NIU showing off some of that artistry right there.
All right, and here goes Bradley Stroud for Washington on the parallel bars.
Andrew Lehman just picked up for him. Let's see if Bradley can keep it going. Awesome, awesome fight for a stick there from NIU on floor. Micah looks absolutely amped.
Bradley swinging good for the Dogs right now.
You can hear Arizona there on the other side of the curtain from us, and you can hear it. Huge front uprise, big front full. It's a C value skill. Fighting for that stick, but made the right call and just took the 310 step there.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen a guy fight just way too hard for a stick and he'll end up sitting down, or God help them, falling on their face. I've seen it go both ways.
Absolutely. All right, some big routines here. On the horse, Clayton Cunningham for Arizona. This is going to be a big one. Keep your eye right there.
I got to say, Arizona does their leg work well.
Albert Chang for the Bay Area Bandits, starting off their second rotation of their first national championships. Beautiful Tong Fei from Clayton there on Palm Horse. As Sergey from Armadillos, there are three big routines going on here for sure. Big Yamawaki work from Bay Area Bandits as Clayton finishes real strong. That's going to score very, very well for Arizona.
All right, let's see what the Armadillos have cooking up here on high bar. High flying Late Tkachev.
Very nice little pike in the hips, but not bad at all. Here comes another one. Wow, he just has so much amplitude on that. He has so much time to get his feet together and re-stretched on the bar. The giant out has no deduction. Fantastic. This is a good routine so far. A little hung up on the bar there. Comes out a little late. Comes out a little early on that one, but Sergey's a very, very strong athlete. He can handle it. Jacob Miller taking the floor for NIU. See what Sergey's got coming into this dismount here. Here it comes. Winding up. Full twisting.
Full twisting double A.
And just a small step. But again, I think he made the right call.
I think so too. And Julian Moifeng is wrapping things up on the parallel bars for Washington. Fighting a little bit on the Moy support. Pulls it back nice. And here comes a Tepelt, where he doesn't quite get his hips up high enough. So that's going to be a fall. That'll be an entire point.
Yep, just got hung up on the bars there. And now he's got to put that behind him through the routine and fight hard for this front full.
All right, so not quite the finish that Washington was looking for, but they had several strong routines there. We'll see how that holds up throughout the night.
Absolutely. All right, NIU still taking to the floor exercise here. Very, very clean double full there to finish from Jacob Miller. All right, Bay Area Bandits. Second guy, this is Evan from Bay Area. Let's see what he's got for us on the still rings.
Nice Yamawaki work, good extended arms.
Love seeing these new teams out here fighting hard, keeping the arms free of the straps there. You know, Bay Area, young team, it's going to take them a little while until they get the depth that some of the bigger guys like Minnesota, Washington, and Arizona have, but they've got a strong base right now. So as long as they can stick together as a team and build a little bit of depth on each event, they're going to be dangerous.
I'd say so far this has been one of the most presentable routines of the night and a big dismount to finish.
Evan showing off strong that Bay Area is here and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. All right, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, Dallas Hale from the Armadillos. He had a big fall at Western Conference Championships, and I think he wants some redemption. Starting off strong with that Zulumin right to handstand.
One of my favorite and least favorite skills on the high bar.
All right, big releases coming in here. Let's see what he's got. Is he going to risk it for the biscuit? Oh, same thing he missed at Western Conference Championships. One of my favorite releases of all times. It's a Liukin one named after the very famous Valery Liukin, Nastia Liukin's father, actually.
It is an impressive skill, but you cannot underestimate how early you have got to get that throw when you add that twist in there.
Absolutely. Malcolm Moore from NIU showing off what I was talking about earlier. Just beautiful artistry in their transitions. Adding in some bonus elements there that don't add anything to the routine, but it does add an impression on the judges. Showing off that artistry definitely helps. All right. Wow, Dallas Hale misses a second release for the Armadillos. That's going to hurt. But it comes down to what we've been talking about all night. Once you have one mistake, Carl, it is so hard for these guys to bounce back from. And, you know, you only have 30 seconds to let that go. And if it was a big release that you worked really hard on and you know your team's, you know, needing that release, it's very, very hard to only take 30 seconds to just drop that emotion and come in strong.
That's right. So he's got to get it up there now. He's still missing his release move element group. So we're going to have to see how he gets through this.
So now the question is, does he do another release here? Should be a straddle to Tkachev just to get the element group. And he does, a little on the fingertips. But now he's got to calm those nerves, and he's got to mitigate some deduction or minimize some deduction coming in here through the end.
Nice clean quast. And here comes the preparation for the dismount. Big double twisting, double lay, and puts those feet down hard.
And just stomps it like a lawn dart. What a finish. Dallas Hale proving the mental toughness that you have to be an extremely high-level athlete. That was a fantastic finish from Dallas, and it just shows who he is as an athlete and how much he wants to fight for his team here tonight. All right, we're down to our final two routines of the rotation. We're looking at Still Rings, Bay Area Bandits, Ezekiel, and Texas Armadillos, Braden. It's going to be fun, two routines. But down to the end of the rotation, and at the bottom of these rotations, sometimes it can be a little tough to carry your energy through just because, you know, there's not a lot else going on. You know, your team's the only one cheering. It's not all the teams, so it's going to be a little on the quieter side. So let's see how these guys handle that pressure. And this is another one of those things I love to talk about. This pressure right here. You're standing there, you're ready, you've gone through your mental prep, and you're in this kind of limbo, this just holding. All of your adrenaline's rushing, all of your mental prep is rushing, your brain, you know, sometimes your mind is racing, sometimes it's completely calm, and having to stand there for that long can be really, really hard to stay in
before the storm.
Absolutely, and it's so hard to stay in that sweet spot. All right, let's see what Bay Area and the Armadillos have for us coming out strong. Solid release out early from the Armadillos, a little stop there on the bar.
So that direction change is going to be a deduction.
Yep.
And, you know, he's got a, okay.
Bummer, just comes out early on that in-bar element there.
The timing on the in-bar elements can be finicky. If you just get a little bit ahead of yourself, you're off on the wrong side of the bar, and that can be hard to come back from.
Absolutely. Ezekiel finish out a strong rotation for the Bandits there on rings. And again, Braden's got to take that 30 seconds. He's got to catch his breath, and he's got to be ready to turn around and fight back here for his team. Interesting routine construction there to almost, it looked like that direction change was built in. It looks like it was intentional, which sometimes you do that as a coach because maybe that's the only way he can do that in-bar element.
That's right.
And you take a 3/10 direction change, or you miss the element group altogether and you're down 7/10. So smart routine construction there from head coach Tom Meadows. Oh, maybe it wasn't on purpose because he does have that Weiler element right there, which fulfills the element group. Full twisting double tuck, small hop on the landing. Man, those Armadillos had a little bit of a rough rotation there on high bar, but they did prove that they know how to fight back strong. All right, Flight B, we are at the bottom of rotation 2. All the scores are locked in from those first 2 rotations, and we are looking at a current scoreboard there at the top, and Temple coming in strong. I did not see that coming. So Washington out with a decent lead right now. You know, Arizona's going to have to do some fighting here to find them. The Huskies look like they might be looking for some history upset here. Arizona 105.05. Temple 104.85, less than a point behind them. That's not a huge gap. But then you see Iowa only 0.15 behind them. That's going to be a fun battle to watch. And only 0.4 behind them is SC United. Then we have a decent gap down to the Armadillos there. So this is where we were talking about earlier, Carl. We're going to see these groupings. You know, come out of the gates, everyone's going to be fairly equal. But as we roll through and, you know, teams hit their strong and not strong events, we're going to see them start to separate out. But Washington above Arizona, that's going to be hard to say.
I got no complaints.
You know, you're obviously a Washington alum. I'm Arizona alum. I got some complaints right now. And
But at the end of the day, you know what? We're all here for the gymnasts. You know, I love to see everybody get out there and do their absolute best. It is
absolutely, and I was talking about this earlier with one of the coaches during the junior sessions. We were both in it earlier today. You know, nobody out here wants to see a guy fall. No one wants to see some of these superstars miss releases or come off the horse or anything. What I really would love to see is a meet with no falls and find out where everybody actually stacks. So now, if you're Arizona and you glanced at that scoreboard as you rotated back, you know, what is a team captain? If you were in team captain Vinny Clismo or Blake Tingzong's shoes, what would you be saying to your team rotating back to their third rotation?
Well, they're in a situation, again, where they're kind of looking up, and that's not a situation that they're used to. And so if you're there, you know which gymnasts are going to be putting up, you know, who is your best chance on each particular event at putting up strong scores, you know? And you're going to be rallying those guys, you know, to really put up a routine that is their absolute best. I mean, at a certain point, you tell them, trust your training, trust what you do in practice, trust yourself. Is there anything else that you can ask for?
Absolutely. All right, we are off and running here. New York Alliance, Ethan Rio is on the floor exercise. Minnesota's Noah actually just came off horse. Timothy from UIC is up on rings. Caleb from Mavericks has already started their vault rotation. A little rough, so we'll see if they can fight back here. From SCU, William Pierce. This is going to be a big one to watch. Keep an eye on that bottom middle screen right there. It's going to be a big one for them.
Will
and
Pierce.
Stefan from Temple is up on high bar.
Will Pierce, good friend of ours. Good to see him still competing after all this time. He's been going at it for a while, and then he has so much to show for the time he's put into this sport.
Absolutely. Love seeing this. This is part of the reason we love GymACT. Some of these guys are staying in the sport longer and longer. Big jump and a quarter. Can he find it? Oh, he can. Way to mitigate. Now he's got to settle in and find some extra tenths in the end of this routine here.
Yeah, Will's a big guy. He swings hard. He's got lots of power. Sometimes that power can kind of get away from you if you don't quite get those angles right.
Absolutely.
And here he goes wrapping up for the dismount and stays on his feet. So not the cleanest routine that he probably could have put up, but the difficulty was high. He had style. It's a good start for SoCal.
Absolutely, and you know, sometimes those routines that fight that hard get the team fired up, and they're going to go pick up those deductions he left out there, and they could still have a very strong rotation. All right, Ryder, New York Alliance, huge double back. Oh, it just sits back on it. All right, from Minnesota, this is Evan. Big pommel routine for Minnesota here.
So they've got a routine to cover for already, fighting to get us.
What a
fight.
He
fights to keep that on, fights well, and here comes, all right. So he's got a little bit more care work to go before the dismount. Up it goes.
Great fight.
All
Head
right.
coach Mike Burns in the left-hand corner there, just throwing his hands up. Thankfully, he stayed on. I always say pommel horse is to men's gymnastics like beam is to women's gymnastics. Sometimes all you can hope for is that the guys stay on.
And today we're gonna have to watch those dismounts hard because it looks like the judges are really hammering down on if the leg touches at all. It seems like.
Absolutely. There's no credit. The guy's got to repeat it. All right. Noah Arnold from Georgia United taken to the still rings, starting off their third rotation here. Ryder from New York on floor exercise, finished with a solid stick for them with a C value skill, which brings them 2/10. Temple, they've got to be looking at that scoreboard, knowing they're in a fight here. Let's see if they can find some landings, and they do. Look at that.
Followed up immediately by another one on the rings. Like I said, the amount of stuck landings that we've seen today are far greater so far than what we've seen at Westerns.
Absolutely. Alex from Temple getting the rotation back on track there. That's going to be a huge score. From SCU, Ajith. Mavericks have had definitely a little bit tougher time on vault here. This is going to be Dyson, their final vaulter. Very nice Kazumatsu bringing it home for him. That's going to score very well and help pick up. This is Ryan Dugan on floor for New York. Interesting exit out of that handstand. This is what I love to see. Sometimes in GymACT you get some very interesting variations of skills. Moving fast, keep under that 75-second time limit. Nice.
Yeah, and going for a bigger dismount than what you're generally going to see today. Going for the D dismount to get that extra difficulty. Hopefully, if you can get it down, you get the extra 10th for the stick bonus as well.
Absolutely. Risking it for the biscuit a little bit there. Takes a small step on it, but, I think he made the right call, absolutely. It was a very, very solid, well done D-value skill there. All right, Temple putting up Nate on high bar.
You can tell already this guy's a powerful swinger. You can see how much he moves that bar as he swings.
All right, Aaron from Georgia United taking to the rings. All right, and Kellen Ryan jumping up on pommel horse. This is one of the guys we've watched all day. He's normally a solid hit for him right here, and they definitely need it.
All right, Temple secures their second stuck landing of the rotation.
And Temple is going to be in this fight. With 14 teams, sometimes it's hard to remember who all is going to be in here strong. And Temple is going to put up a fight to the end. It's great to see. Solid routine from Kellen on pommel horse from Minnesota. All right, Aiden from New York, huge double front tuck, D-value skill with a small hop.
Could have fit a full-size person underneath that one.
Yeah, could have walked under it and won. Wow, that's a really big skill.
Southern California looking strong on the parallel bars. I got to say, so far, I am very impressed with how Southern California has looked this season.
Absolutely. SCU is really, really, really building some steam here.
By far one of the most grown programs in recent years.
Absolutely. We noticed as I was commentating 2 years ago, I think at Son of a Classic or Southwest Cup, that they were starting to build, and I've been waiting for their steam to slow down. It just really hasn't. Great routine there from Eric Sherbert for SCU. Aiden from New York laying down a great floor routine. This is Jeremiah Holmes from Georgia United on the still rings. Fighting for that stick from New York. Love to see that. All right. We've got Jude Norris, final guy on pommel horse from Minnesota. Let's see if he can keep this going strong. They've had to take a couple lower scores. He's got to fight for every 10th here.
All right, and we've got Zach Raymond on the high bar, winding up for his first flight skill.
Very nice
hands
straddle.
on, good swing out.
And Temple is building. Ooh, big mistake there, obviously. Caught lots of form breaks and then settles right back in and hits that handstand. That and is an incredible show of mental toughness. Eric Sherbert from SCU putting up a 12-8 on parallel bars. Very nice. Temple showing those handstands. That's exactly what the judges are looking for. Troy Mendelson from SCU taking to the parallel bars. Oh, just pikes it down on that dismount. Zach fought so hard for that routine. Sometimes you just run out of gas at the end. Casey from New York coming out strong with a full tuck, just stumbling it forward. All right, Casey's a big, powerful tumbler, but sometimes that power is real hard to keep a hold of. It's going to be Aiden Whitehead from Georgia United taking the still rings.
All right, and Mendelson finishing off with a strong dismount. A little bit rocky there in the middle.
All right, let's keep an eye right there on Aiden from rings.
And there's a nice Maltese hold.
Very nice. Georgia is another team. I think they're going to follow that SC United path. They came out last year for a routine or two or for an event or two, and definitely looked like a new team. And this year, they're already showing a lot of growth from last year. Casey from New York, that was a little bit of a rough routine for him, very uncharacteristic. So they're going to have to cover that here in the coming rotations going into pommel horse, which can be very difficult to do.
And hands go down on the dismount there on the rings from Aiden Whitehead.
All right. Jacob Biller from Temple. Temple's had a great high bar rotation, but they need a solid one here because they're counting a 10.65 there from Zach Raymond. So Jacob's got to pick up here for his team to keep them in the hunt for that podium spot. Great Tkachev work there. Beautiful handstand. One of the biggest things on high bar is the judges are looking for handstand right there. You saw I pulled that skill over the bar. That's going to be an added deduction. But that right there is definitely not. That was dead on handstand. That's what we're looking for. All right. Let's see what Jacob's got here for a dismount. Full twisting double layout. Small step. That's what they needed. The Temple Owls are staying in this fight.
We've got Calvin Vowry from Southern California getting ready to wrap things up. Calvin's another guy who's been around for a while. I mean, he's been at least since 2018. So he's been definitely a veteran on the team. Let's see what he can do to round off the rotation for Southern California.
And as SCU jumps up on the parallel bars, Ray Bridges from Georgia United is going to finish out their rotation. Man, that 10-1-5 for NorCal, that's going to be hard to come back from. We're going to see what they can pull together as a team, especially as they go into Pommel Horse. That could be what kind of sets their tone for the next three.
Calvin with some very high flying skills and look at his handstand holds. Look at that line.
That is beautiful. We talked about it earlier. Sometimes those very, very simple skills like a handstand or an LC would make all the difference. He comes in for a big double tuck.
And the dismount gets away from him a little bit.
But does a great job keeping the hands up and mitigating. That's one of the hardest things to do is when you get in trouble is to stay calm and not take more deduction than you absolutely have to. All right, Ray Bridges from Georgia United finishing out rotation 3 for Flight A. Already hit a nice solid swing strength element. Catches support a little bit there on that double front element called a tucked Yamawaki. There he goes, calming down on that handstand. Nice swing handstand. 3/10 if they miss that.
And pulls the dismount around a little bit too far. It's,
Carl, I felt like we were seeing a ton of sticks in the first 2 rotations, and now that their score's up, there's competition to be had. I feel like some of these guys are letting it get to them just a little bit, and they're just putting a little extra English on their dismounts, and it's hard when you do that to find it. Your timing and your visual cues are on point all season long, and then you get to a national championships and you put just a little extra down. It's so hard to calm it back down and find it.
Absolutely.
All right, and if you look at the Pommel Horse screen there, top middle, you see meet referee Peter Wigging conferring with the judges on different rulings. That's another interesting thing to talk about. So technically speaking, if a score comes up and a coach disagrees with it, the only thing the coach is allowed to inquire about or argue about, if you will, is the start value, and that is the degree of difficulty. It's what they did and did not get credit for doing. Coaches are not allowed to argue a score as far as execution.
That's right.
They can't argue with the judges or question the judges' scores as to whether it was a 3/10 or a 1/10 deduction. All they can do is say, hey, you didn't give him credit for a Pommel Horse dismount. We've seen several times already this meet, and they can go to the meet ref and they can they can inquire and say, hey, I think he got credit. Judges say he didn't, and they can find those extra tenths.
Yep, so it's a very important job of the coaches to make sure that their athletes are getting credit for every skill that they do.
Absolutely.
Because it is possible to make a mistake.
Absolutely, especially these judges have been here all weekend long. I think the judges, honestly, a lot of the times they catch the short end of the stick. Fans are like, oh, that judge is terrible or whatever, but they are out here all day, and it is mentally draining to remember all the element groups, the deductions, and they've got to actually write it all out so their hands get tired. They're sitting in a chair all day in a really loud environment. It's draining, so it's very, very easy for these guys to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And they do a great job. Our judges in this country are absolutely phenomenal. So huge shout out to them. So that's why that rule is there. It's human error sometimes, and having that opportunity as a coach to check on that is always huge. All right, rotation 3 is coming into the gym from Flight B. Armadillos are going to floor, and they've got to pick up a little bit from what they had on high bar. NIU, Northern Illinois University, taking to the Pommel Horse. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. All right, Arizona State going to the still rings, another big one to watch. I'm sorry, that is... Oh, no, that's correct. I apologize. All right, Arizona State taking to the floor exercise, to the still rings. And then Kansas City and Bay Area Bandits going to vault. Florida Storm on parallel bars. We're going to talk about them here in just a second with Iowa GymACT, and then Washington going to high bar. And high bar can make or break Washington right here.
Again, I'll tell you what, if things go their way, they've got some real stylish routines there at the end of their lineup. That'll be fun to see.
Absolutely. And Florida Storm here on parallel bars. Definitely want to talk about them for just a second because they are what we call a probationary team. They are not a full-out GymACT team yet. They've applied to be a team. The board has to see their model. How are they being funded? Where are they getting their guys from? Who's coaching them? How are they training? All that. And then they will be approved. So actually, I just got word before this. Congratulations to Jeff Bittner and the Florida Storm team. as they have been granted official status for the 24th season. So as of June 1st, GymACT gains another team.
That's right. And Bradley Stroud starts off the high bar rotation with a gorgeous routine, hitting his handstands all the way through and nearly sticking his E difficulty dismount. That is a very, very good start to their high bar rotation.
Absolutely, the dogs have got to be just fired up after that the first round of competition. All right, Elliot Foster starts off strong from Arizona. All right, Bradley from Texas Armadillos coming in with a strong dismount there. All right, first round of competition's done. Guys from KCU hit vault hard. Some real nice vaults from them. This is going to be Andrew from Bay Area Bandits to get them started on vault. Let's see what Andrew's got here. Bottom left-hand corner. Very nice Kazumatsu. Fights it around. Little short on the rotation with a step, but keeps his knee off the ground. That was a great fight from Andrew.
All right, Zach Murray from Washington preparing for his routine over there on the high bar.
As you said, Bradley Stroud putting up a 12.5 for his team.
Strong start.
That's going to help keep him on top here. Arizona needs a real strong ring rotation here to try to close that gap a little bit.
You know, fortunately for them, they tend to be pretty strong there on the rings, so we will have to see how that goes.
Absolutely. All right. Zach swinging strong, starting with that great flight element. That in-bar endo, hanging up his feet a little bit, but not bad. A little carried over there. So far, solid routine.
And here comes Albert Chang from the Bay Area Bandits.
Got hung up a little bit in that twist, but did a great job of staying calm and still putting it down. Big dismount from Washington.
And I think he stuck?
It looked like he did. Kind of got out of our camera angle a little bit, but definitely looked like a solid stick. All right, Hunter from Arizona looking to capitalize on what his teammate Elliot just did as Dylan McConkey from the Armadillos takes the floor exercise. All right, Iowa, Nolan coming in strong on parallel bars. And the Armadillos are fighting for their landings on floor today.
As you said earlier, those landings on floor, not just the last one. Every single one of those landings can make a huge difference in the score of a routine.
Absolutely. Arizona looking for a stick there, taking a small hop, but other than that, solid routine from Hunter. Iowa fighting hard. Good mitigation on the dismount or on the Moy there. Definitely struggling just a little bit to find that handstand, and instead of fighting too hard and taking a fall, gets it around and then comes in and sticks his dismount. That was a great routine from Nolan from Iowa.
All right, Evan Hymanson from the Bay Area Bandits preparing for his vault, who will be the last vaulter of the rotation.
So he's got Bay Area's put together some good vaults, but they need a nice solid one.
Now that's not a vault you see very often.
Front handspring, front full. That was beautiful. 14.4 start value. Very, very nicely done. Bay Area needed that for sure, and he came in and hit for his team. NIU on pommel horse. This is Jacob Miller from Northern Illinois University. Again, some great artistry. You even see it in their pommel horse and some of their transitions like that right there. You don't see that very often.
That's right. Trevor Jerry showing off some L grip work there on the high bar. Stutters a little bit on the catch.
All right, on rings, we got Aiden Myers from Arizona.
And Ruggieri just short on the catch on that Tkachev.
As Gabe Fry waits on parallel bars for Iowa.
Arizona showing nice strong holds there on the rings, keeping their arms completely free of the cables.
Big dismount, small hop. Arizona's fighting back. You know, when they rotated out of this gym on the last rotation, they looked up at that scoreboard and said, oh no, not today. Carlos Hernandez mounting floor for the Texas Armadillos with a huge Arabian double front.
All right, and Ruggieri here for his second attempt, I believe, at his Tkachev. And he gets it that time.
Puts it right on the bar. Definitely pulled it in a little close there, but you know
what? Sometimes play it safe means put it close. If the alternative is not catching.
Absolutely.
If your nose isn't touching the bar, it's not too close.
Definitely don't want to take a second fall there. Gabe Fry from Iowa. Nice handstand work here from Gabe. Solid L seat position, catching his breath.
Iowa with a beautiful front full dismount, just a small hop on that. You could tell he was fighting for that landing hard.
Absolutely. All right. Cole from Iowa getting ready to take on parallel bars as Andrew from Washington's ready to take on high bar. And Caden Peacock from Arizona State is up on still rings.
Aiden showing pretty good support on those rings. Now, as you watch those Yamawaki skills, the double salto skills tucked and piked, it's good to pay attention to what the arms are doing. As you go through, you see a lot of guys that'll catch that support a little bit too much, and they'll let the arms buckle and that rhythm, and then you'll see a pretty noticeable rhythm break there. You don't see much of that there from Caden.
All right, we've got Sergey taking to the floor for the Armadillos. This is going to be another big routine right here. NIU, this is Micah Puckett, their final routine on pommel horse.
And Arizona secures another stuck landing on the rings.
Man, Arizona's fired up. Sergey from the Armadillos puts his butt down on that first pass, but he's fighting back strong. NIU finishing a strong pommel horse rotation for them.
So Andrew Lehman there on the high bar for Washington, catching his Tkachev, but losing the giant out of it. So now he'll take that stop, and he's got to recover from that.
And he recovers great right there. Sergey on floor had a rough start, and man, he is fighting back like crazy here.
Lehman winding up for his dismount.
Tucked full out.
All right. A little sloppier than we're used to seeing from him. We'll have to see how the rest of the rotation goes.
Iowa, another stuck dismount on the parallel bars from Cole. Sergey on floor for the Armadillos. Big
Putting
back double
down
full.
Hard.
Showing that stick position. That was fantastic from Sergey. A little bit of a rough start, but man, he fought back like crazy. All right, I have got to call out one of my favorite routines in all of GymACT. On still rings from Arizona State, this is Ethan DiGirolamo. This kid is so strong. It's a fun routine, so keep an eye on that top right corner. And on the top left corner, we've got Dallas Hale from the Armadillos, another good one to watch. And huge shout out, if you guys look in the background, nice packed stands, especially if you watch the high bar down the bottom right. Look at all the guys standing in the corner there. Fantastic to see all these juniors out here competing at the Developmental National Championships for USA Gymnastics, and they're out here supporting college and dreaming of the day that they get to be out here just like these guys. And if you look at the top left corner of your screen, Arizona's taking the lead back, but there are routines left.
Ethan starting out strong with that Maltese hold. We got two standout routines here. Right underneath him on the bottom right corner, Julian Moifeng on the high bar for Washington. Definitely one of their cleaner high bar swingers.
Getting into his German Giants. Love this right here. Fantastic. Ethan answering with a beautiful cross position. Ooh, big stop from the dogs right there on high bar.
Now you can see him when he got into the German or Czech Giant, whichever you want to call it, his grip shifted down and he lost his support. So he fought through the Giants fine. But when he stooped out of them, he lost his momentum and it came to a complete stop there. So that is unfortunately not the strongest rotation we've seen from Washington on the high bar. They're let quite a few mistakes get through here.
All right. Ooh, was that a stick?
I think I saw that foot slide.
I think so too, but Ethan finishing out a great rotation for Arizona as Dallas Hale takes to the floor from the Armadillos. Double full, double front. That's huge as Rafe S. finishes for Iowa on parallel bars.
Speaking of double fronts, very difficult dismount there on the P-bars. E value.
Absolutely. We are seeing some great gymnastics, and we talked about this at Western Conference Championships. The skill level inside the GymACT rotation and the GymACT league is coming through the roof so fast. 2 years ago, we did not see a lot of this gymnastics. You might have seen it from powerhouses like Arizona or Washington, but now the Armadillo is a brand new team on the floor, and they've got some E-value skills going on out there, and it's so awesome to see. Dallas Hale, super strong routine for the Armadillos here in the top left corner.
Right. And now waiting by the high bar, we have Xander Agate with a little bit of pressure on him now. Washington's got probably several scores at this point that they'd like to drop. They only get one, and hopefully Xander's going to put up a score that'll do it for him.
Absolutely huge dismount from Dallas Hale right there. Enjoying the moment there for a second before he presents to the judges. The Armadillos are fighting strong here to pick up some ground from that little bit of a rough rotation they had on high bar. All right, final rotation, final routine, flight B, rotation number 3. Xander from Washington. Let's see what he's got for us here.
Now Xander's going to show us a release move that you don't generally see too often here, I believe. Right here.
Wow, don't see those very often.
No.
Solid start.
It's called a Markelov.
Hitting those handstands.
Show a nice and strong swing on that Weiler, and here he goes. So far, so good.
See what he can find right here for his team. Just a small step there. Great routine. And that's going to help the Huskies rotate back in the warm-up gym and carry some of that momentum from that routine back with them, because they definitely, like you said earlier, Carl, not the strongest rotation that we're used to seeing from them on high bar. But you called that out earlier, high bar and pommel horse. They're going to make or break events. All right, as scores come in here, we've got, as you can see right across the top, we're waiting for that last routine from the Huskies to come through. But Arizona taking a commanding lead back by 5 points. That was a great rotation from Arizona. And let's see if they can keep it going as they head to the vault. Iowa fighting back strong, a 153.95. They're just shy of 5 points behind Arizona. They've got some work to do. And then Washington falling to third, but only a 10th behind Iowa. So that's going to be a tight fight in there, with SCU still in it with a 152.5, and Temple right behind them with a 152.3. And then we slide down to Rocky Mountain, rounding out the top 6 at a 148.85. You know, we talked about this earlier. These teams are going to be, we're going to see some bigger gaps like we see in there between Temple and the Mavericks, but everything else is going to be a super, super tight fight. You know, you see that fight right there between Iowa and Washington. They're only separated by a 1/10 of a point, and then SCU is only 3/10 behind that, less than 3/10 behind that. So it's going to be a tight fight all the way to the end. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are halfway through this competition, halfway through this national championships. The crowd stands strong, the athletes are staying strong, but here's where it's going to be made or break. It's going to be make or break time here in these next 3. So rotation 4 for flight A. Temple is going to take to the floor exercise. We're going to see if they can find that little bit of gap they need to try to catch up to SCU and possibly start working back up on Washington. New York Alliance is going to be taken to the pommel horse here. Then on rings, Minnesota with 2 real strong routines we're going to keep an eye on here from Kellen and Yaroslav. And then UIC and Georgia United take on vault, with the Mavericks going to parallel bars. Now, parallel bars is going to be a strong rotation for the Mavericks, so they might be able to climb back up and put a little pressure on Temple. So Temple's going to have to keep putting pressure on SCU, because the Rocky Mountain Mavericks are going to be climbing up, trying to put pressure on them. And then rounding out the 6th rotation is going to be SC United on high bar. And their first guy up is going to be Willem Pierce, another big routine. All right, Mavericks starting off with Marshall Burroughs from the Mavericks. Solid start here, beautiful straddle cut. Minnesota, Brandon Kim taking to the equipment. Temple, Eden starting off strong with that nice Arabian double front. Small stumble back there from Marshall from the Mavericks, but a solid start. Minnesota, Brandon Kim, swinging strong. New York Alliance, Aiden getting ready to take on the pommel horse. And Paul from UIC taking on vault.
Southern California level, maybe they're adjusting the tension, the high bar cables a little bit.
Yep. And you see coaches do that when they want to speed up or slow down the reaction time of the bar, especially with bigger, more powerful athletes. You want to slow it down sometimes, because if they're longer, it takes them a little bit longer to react to the bar. Or sometimes if they're real powerful, you actually want to tighten it up and speed up that bar.
That's right. We had Adam Berger there fighting to finish up a routine there over for New York Alliance. And up on high bar here is Will Pierce with, once again, a very stylish routine.
All right, we're off and running. Will Pierce, let's see what he's got for SCU.
So here he can come stooping into his check giants.
And again, if you saw that pommel horse routine, the judges brought Aiden back to redo his dismount. We're going to see that all day long with the new rule change on that. If their foot touches a horse, it's no credit. Jeremiah from Georgia. Oh, I thought he had that. Great entry on that vault, just behind it a little bit and sat it down. Gavin from Mavericks taking to the parallel bars.
And eyes up on high bar as Pierce wraps up his dismount and very nearly sticks it. What an amazing routine.
Solid start for them on high bar. Owen Frank from Minnesota on the still rings. As Alex from the Temple Owls tries to capitalize. They got to gain some ground. All right, Owen Frank, Minnesota on rings. See what he's got for a dismount here. Nice and solid, just that 3/10. Like you said, I think we saw a lot of sticks coming right out of the gate, and now these guys are getting a little tired. The nerves are getting to them just a little bit, and we're starting to see some of those mistakes. So it's really going to come down to what team can hold that emotion in and use it instead of letting it use them. Noah from Georgia United, solid laid out Sukahara.
And here is Adam Berger for the New York Alliance up on the pommel horse. A little bit rough start. Got his swing going pretty well there in the middle. And up for the dismount. All right, struggles a little bit to get that dismount moving. A little bit of shaping, but gets it around. And it looks like he kept his foot clear.
Solid set there. Alex finishing up strong for the Temple Owls. On vault, Aaron Weinberg from Georgia United. Let's see what he's got here. Another nice big laid out Suk. Looked like he was going to stick and then just took that safety step back.
All right, Minnesota starting off rings with the nice with the Iron Cross. Gets that nice 5/10 bonus.
This is Kellen Ryan on rings. Definitely one to keep an eye on. Owen Frank put up a 13-3 here. This is going to be a strong rotation for Minnesota. Ryan Dugan taking to the horse for New York Alliance.
And here goes Troy Mendelson on the high bar, hoping to keep up the momentum that Will Pierce started.
New York. Ryan Dugan swinging strong. Huge handspring pike from, I believe that was Aiden Whitehead from Georgia United.
And Mendelson takes a big spill over on the high bar. Took his Yamawaki just a little bit too far. Looks like he did not get the dowel of his outside reaching grip onto the bar.
Nathan from Mavericks putting down a solid stuck dismount right there.
And speaking of solid stuck dismounts, did you see the height on that double back on floor?
It was huge. This is going to be Nate from Temple Owls. Really, really powerful tumbler. And man, he looks dialed in today. This is a fun routine to watch. All right, going back over to Georgia United. Ray Bridges, final routine right here on the vault exercise for Georgia United. Interesting, looks like his hand slid a little bit there. Doesn't look like that was the vault he intended to do, but mitigates the deductions and finds the landing anyways. That's incredibly hard to do. Ethan Rio, I believe, is up on pommel horse for New York Alliance.
So New York showing off a lot of the Russian traveling elements. We haven't seen too much of that today so far. And Troy Mendelson with a hard landing.
Looks like he's okay though, and that is, well, when you see a guy go down like that, it's the first thing you want to see. Huge triple back, and he stomped that 2 weeks ago at Western Conference Championships. All right, SCU has some work to do. All right. On the rings, this is Yaroslav Owens. Big routine here for Minnesota.
And a big mount winding up on the parallel bars. Free hip to handstand, D-value skill.
This is Kyler for the Mavericks. 2 big routines going on here. Still rings and parallel bars. Oh, back stuts on parallel bars. You don't see that very often into a big back double pike. Coach is excited about it, and that's what matters. Great routines going on from Minnesota and the Mavericks. You know, I think Minnesota didn't like their placement when they rotated out, and they're doing something about it, and that's what you love to see right here. All right, Zach Raymond from Temple. Huge double back.
All right, big 2.5 twist. Little step on the landing.
All right, Ryder from New York Alliance taking to the leather. Solid palm horse swinger. Let's see what he's got here. Big dismount. Looks like those feet are free of the body of the horse. Can he get it? Ooh, smart choice. He was going for the 720, trying to value up 1/10, and instead just took the extra hand placement, pushed off the side of the horse. That was a very smart call. Looks like looks like a veteran competitor out there for sure when you make those changes.
It looks like we have Ryan Cran up here for the Mavericks on the parallel bars.
Finish out a solid rotation so far. As a Jeeth. Oh,
and SoCal United struggling on the release moves today. That is the second time that I've seen that dismount or the release move not quite get around on the reach.
But solid cover from Ajith. Big dismount from Mavericks on parallel bars. That was a solid rotation for them. Let's see if Ajith can settle here on high bar. As Zach Raymond finishes up for the Temple, the Owls there. They have one more routine left. Full twist and double back from SCU. And a solid stick right there. Ajith, way to bounce back after a rough start. That is so hard to do. All right, Justin from Minnesota taking to the still rings. Let's see what we got here. They've had a solid rotation so far. Let's see if he can capitalize on it. Beautiful swing to strength element there. It's called a kip to L. Here's that Yamawaki work like you were talking about. Looks like he caught a little bit of support there and just takes that little bit of deduction.
So press to handstand and okay.
So just now falls forward out of it.
He's going to have to repeat that now. So again, okay. So he's fallen twice. So here he made the good call to get off the rings because he's going to have to breathe now and kind of reset himself.
Absolutely, and that's hard to do. But Jacob Biller is taken to the floor for the Owls. One of their star floor routines. This is going to be a fun one to watch. He's a taller athlete, which normally makes it very difficult to be powerful, and he actually has found a way to just use it. I mean, look at the height on that double back. Finds his landing. I love his presentation on floor. I love when athletes do this. He's so calm and confident out there. He's not trying to gas everything. He's not trying to go super hard. I mean, it just looks like he is in a walk for the park. He's at a walk in the park right here. He's just doing what he loves out here, and I love the way he presents his floor routine. It's calm, it's confident, and it's fun to watch. Beautiful dismount there from Justin on still rings from Minnesota. That's so hard to do to get back up and stomp like that, and he did a great job with it. All right, Jacob coming in for a dismount. See if Temple can finish right here with a solid stick to end the rotation. Number 4. And he does.
Very impressive routine there on the floor.
Solid, calm, confident. Looks like it's just what he does. That was a great rotation for Temple. They are going to probably hang in toward the top of the podium there. They are in this fight a lot more than I predicted.
Temple has put in a very strong showing so far. I'm very impressed.
Now, one of my favorite quotes about the sport of gymnastics, in gymnastics, you just never know. So we'll see if they can keep it going. They have 2 rotations left, and they haven't taken to palm horse yet. So that could be a make or break. All right, we are waiting on 2 final routines from SCU. It's going to be Alexander. And Alexander's got some work to do here. Obviously, they saw some rougher starts there. It actually looks like if you look, they have the base mats pulled all the way apart there. And it's interesting to note there were enough tall juniors in this session for the younger developmental nationals. They raised the high bar 2 notches. That's why you see an extra base mat in there, and he's got both of them pulled apart. Very interesting. As Jude Norris takes to the rings for Minnesota. Very nice straddle plunge there.
All right, and here goes Andrew Kotnick up on the high bar.
2 exciting routines to wind this rotation down. Big straddle to Tkachev and just misses it. Like you said earlier, SCU is really struggling to get their hands on that bar today. And that's just how it goes sometimes. That's why pommel horse and high bar are the two deciding factors in the meet. Jude Norris finishing up strong for Minnesota. Hopefully looking to get rid of that 995 that Justin put up. Hopefully subbing that out. See if they can climb up there a little bit higher on that scoreboard. All right. Alexander back on the high bar for SCU.
Now he's going to go ahead and repeat the Tkachev, and you can see a little bit more quickness through the tap on that one. So a lot of the time you can kind of tell right from the beginning whether the throw is going to be long or not, just from the timing of the tap.
Absolutely. And how aggressive they are. Full spin there. Looking good. Nice pirouette. Looks like he just caught that handstand. Jude Norris from Minnesota putting up an 11-4, helping out his team there. Full twisting double back to a stuck dismount from SCU. They've had a hard time getting their hands on the bar, but they're not having a hard time putting their feet on the floor, that's for sure. All right, we have one final routine of this rotation coming from SCU on high bar. This is going to be Calvin. And, you know, he's in the hot seat right now. You know, we've been talking about team culture and team mentality. You watch all of your teammates really struggle on an event. It's really, really hard to be at that chalk bucket right where he is right now and calm down. And like you said earlier, he's got to trust his training here.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're you're one of the team veterans like Calvin is, that responsibility does fall to you. You know, a lot of the times you are that one of those final guys that you put up, because it is expected that you're going to be able to handle that pressure. You know, whether you're following up a strong rotation or not.
Absolutely. And, you know, Carl, I feel like you did that for Washington your junior and senior year for sure, especially on floor exercise and vault. I felt like we saw you at the end a lot. And being from Arizona, you know, we'd be watching a rotation. It's like, all right, we got him. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. What's Carl going to do? We got to wait until his score comes in before we know if we're ahead on the rotation or not. All right, here we go. SCU putting up a final high bar routine. Let's see what he's got right here from Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin's a guy who's definitely got great execution and great lines. He does a great job of showing handstands, and he hits his angles strong on high bar, which is something that not everybody usually looks at on high bars. You got to hit those handstands right on every single one of those skills.
Big release, laid out Tkachev and gets his hands right on it. Very, very nice. Another one coming in here. Straddle right on.
Calvin doing a great job picking up some momentum here.
Another interesting thing to note is you're only allowed 15 degrees from vertical. Finishing with a layout, very interesting.
So it's making me think that maybe he's got a leg injury or something that's preventing him from doing a full difficulty dismount. However, he stocked up that difficulty on the release moves and with some of the in-bar, and I think that's going to just about balance that out for him.
Absolutely, and he does still receive an A-value skill there, so he still gets credit for doing that element. All right, rotation 4 for Flight A is in the books. And Temple still up there now. Remember, this is Flight A, so all of these teams have 4 routines in the books, whereas Flight B only has 3. But if you look at those scores there, you've got a tight battle going on here. SCU 198.7 with the Mavericks 198.3 right on their heels. Temple continuing to kind of lead out from Flight A. They're definitely having a real strong showing in here, but New York Alliance at a 185.8 within striking distance. You know, that 7 points is definitely on the edge of the striking distance, but they're on the heels of Minnesota, keeping the pressure there. Minnesota, right, you know, they're kind of on the heels of Mavericks, but Mavericks are starting to pull away a little bit, so Minnesota's got to go back in the warm-up gym, and like you said earlier, their team captains are really going to have to put some hype in them. They're going to have to really push hard for their final 2 rotations.
That's right. Now our other 2 big names, Washington, Arizona, both on the leg events. Again, the events that are generally you're going to see higher scores from. Washington on floor, Arizona on vault. I know Arizona's going to put up a powerful rotation. Westerns, vault was enough to bring them up from second place to over a 5-point lead, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely, and they started that run, you know, and this is what Arizona does. They, you know, sometimes they'll start a little rough, but man, once they get running, they run hard and they run fast. So we saw it at Westerns. We're going to see it again. They started that run on rings this time around, though. They had a 5-point lead rotating back into the warm-up gym. So now the question is, can the Huskies and some of these other teams reel them back in, or are they going to increase this lead right here? Starting off strong.
It looks like we've got Hunter Fletchig on the vault for Arizona and Everett O'Donnell for Washington on the floor.
Big double fold from Arizona. Dylan McConkey taken to the horse for the Armadillos was Zach McHugh from Northern Illinois on still rings. Asa Thompson getting ready for Kansas City United on parallel bars, with Gabe Fry getting ready to take to high bar from Iowa GymACT. NIU, big double tuck dismount. Very, very nice start there from Zach. Gabe Fry bringing in that release move a little close to the bar there for Iowa.
But again, sometimes it's better to be a little bit too close than just a little bit too far. Because too far is a guaranteed miss.
Ooh, rough vault there from Elliott Foster on Arizona State. Tucked it around that. I don't think he's going to get layout credit for that.
I would have to guess no. And O'Donnell on the floor for Washington with a pretty clean routine. Nice stuck dismount. That is a strong start for Washington.
Gabe Fry finishes strong for Iowa with a stuck dismount also. These teams are starting to get fired up. You know, it's rotation 4. If they're making moves on the podium, it's got to happen here.
There goes another double front dismount on the P-bars, taken just a little bit low. It is a valuable dismount, but it is a very hard one to get around. It takes a lot of power.
Absolutely. Gabe Fry throwing that shirt out to the crowd for that beautiful stuck double A from high bar for Iowa. All right. Carlos Hernandez taken to the leather for the Armadillos on pommel horse. As Senator, huge back 2.5 on vault. That is a cause full and a half. Senator Bedoui from Arizona State. They're going to start an end run here. Some of these teams are going to have to really, really start running hard to try to catch up to Arizona. Jacob Miller, NIU on pommel horse, or on still rings. Carlos Hernandez showing some beautiful pommel work there. Getting a little bit in trouble there.
A little bit around on the rough.
Pushes it back out. Very nice. I think his right foot stayed free.
I think he showed a pretty good position there on the dismount. Yeah, I think there's no question there that his foot cleared on that.
All right, crowd favorite on vault from Arizona State. This is Jackson Harrison. He had a huge vault at Westerns. Let's see what he's got here. Has that nice Yurchenko entry where he does his round off on the vault runway to the springboard. Nolan from Iowa GymACT on high bar. Nice big double full from Jackson.
And again, you don't see very many people on the men's side doing the Yurchenko entry. It's not as common of a vault entry, although in my opinion, I think it's kind of, if you want to get a big high-flying block, it's the superior vault entry method.
Iowa, big double front off the top of the bar with a solid landing. That is huge. You don't see that dismount very often.
Now, you don't see it landed very often.
Fair enough. You see it a lot, but most guys do not keep it on their feet that well. That's the second one this weekend that I've seen done very, very nicely. Kelly North taken to the horse for the Armadillos. Oh, and this is a big one right here. Bottom left-hand corner, Vinny Calismo, senior team captain from Arizona State. This is a big vault that he is capable of sticking. He proved it inter squad 3 years in a row. He's been last up on vault, and he is stuck every single time. Let's see what he's got for us here at his final GymACT National Championships. Oh, comes in a little low and pulls it around. What a save for Vinny. Great, great vault. All right, on still rings. Looks like we got Kurt Lawrence for Northern Illinois. Nice double back there. NIU definitely does not have a ton of difficulty on still rings, but they are very, very clean as Rafe takes to Iowa on high bar. Huge. Ooh, way overshot that one. Looks like he was going to over-rotate. Did a great job of getting his feet under him and staying safe. All right. Sergey for the Armadillos on pommel horse.
Showing some nice elevation in the legwork as he gets into his swinging elements here.
Camping out on that single pommel. He's got a little pike in a circle, but he's strong enough to make it work for him.
Well, that's one thing we haven't seen too much of today so far is the single pommel work.
All right, Iowa back on high bar. Let's see if he's going to repeat his release right here. Huge straddle on the fingertips, but he puts it down. Brody Lusk stomping a double front from Washington. This is where this meet's going to get fun. These guys are going to start fighting real hard for everything they've got. Sergey finishing up on pommel horse for the Armadillos. Full twisting double layout from Iowa for a solid stick. Nolan bringing it back. Rafe bringing it back hard. Very nice NIU. We're looking at Micah Puckett. Nice press work there. Sergey having to go back up on horse, go after that dismount. Those judges are being absolutely not forgiving and vicious on how they're judging that dismount. But it does appear they're being very, very fair. Everybody's having to redo it, which is what we need to see. Huge double back from NIU.
All right. Senior team captain Brody Lusk getting ready to wrap up his floor routine over here for Washington.
Big 2.5.
And here he should be entering into his last pass. Brody's done an excellent job putting up a good routine, following up sort of a rocky start there for Washington, and sticks the landing. There we go.
Stomps it. That's what you need to see from a senior team captain right there. Dallas Hale getting ready to take to the horse for the Armadillos.
Dallas is putting up some very impressive gymnastics so far today. Some very, very powerful high-flying skills.
Absolutely. Parallel bars. Evan from Bay Area Bandits getting ready to take it on as his teammate Elbert started us off with a strong 12.1, which is a nice, strong score coming out in their first season. Huge start right there out of the gates for Bay.
One of my favorite skills to see and do on the parallel bars. Straddled 5/4.
All right.
And a full care on the pommel horse, and a smooth one at that.
Wow, I am fairly certain I just watched a bell on parallel bars, caught it out of the corner of my eye. This is a huge P-bar routine from a brand new team, Bay Area Bandits. Lots of great gymnastics going on here. Cole Jans from Iowa locking in a great high bar routine for them as Evan from Bay Area throws down right here, end of his P-bar set. Huge Suarez, high flying.
Just shy Tkachev over on the high bar from Iowa. And a huge, nearly stuck double pike dismount on the parallel bars.
That's going to help Bay Area Bandits real well there.
And that was Evan Hymanson, definitely a name to remember going forward, because that was a P-bar routine with some magnitude.
Andrew Lehman from Washington sticking a nice front full there. And, Carl, floor is one of those things that once you start sticking, it's a lot easier to just continue sticking your passes, but you've got to get that first one.
That's right. I think that's actually Bradley Stroud there for Washington. By the way, doing a great job.
You are correct.
Keeping his landings under control.
Iowa coming in strong for a dismount. Let's see what Cole's got. Nice laid out, full twisting double layout. I apologize. Finishing up strong. Iowa had a little bit of a rough one there, but mitigated real well.
Yeah, Bradley's had a great, very strong showing today so far. He is doing work for the dogs.
All right. I believe we've got Braden Pierce finishing up strong for the Armadillos.
Being that last guy up there on the pommel horse, the pressure's on. That's a hard position to be in. It's not always the guy with the most difficult routine. Usually it's somebody you want to put up who's is going to hit solid, where you don't have to worry about the consistency so much.
Right. Because no matter what, you always want to end with a hit.
That's right.
Because then it's easier to take that energy back in the warm-up gym and push into the next event. All right. 13.75 from Dallas Hale on pommel horse. That's going to help the Dillos a lot. All right, Braden.
I would venture to guess that will be probably the highest score we'll see all day on the pommel horse.
I would agree. Braden finish out strong for the Dillos. All right. Andrew from Bay Area Bandits starting off strong.
Nice moist support. You see a lot of guys doing the very fast, snappy tap swings so they can let their legs through straight. You actually get a C value if you do the moi with straight legs and a B if you do it with bent.
Andrew Lehman taking to the floor. Huge double tuck for Washington.
Andrew's a powerful guy. You see it on his vault and especially on floor. He has got some bounce to him. And unfortunately, a short landing on the parallel bars for Andrew Kersner.
He swung it down strong, and it just looked like he just couldn't quite keep his elbow straight, and it just dumped back on him. Other than that, great set for the Bay Area Bandits.
Lehman on floor, making sure he gets a good handstand hold. I can't tell you how many guys I'll see do fantastic passes and lose 3/10 for not holding a handstand.
Absolutely, or even worse, not ever hitting a handstand in a group one and falling out of it. Big double full there. Should be coming in for his dismount right here. Let's see if, oh, I apologize, not his dismount. He's transferring over to the other corner. You got to be able to touch all 4 corners of the floor during the exercise. So he transfers over the nice C front full there.
So Andrew's doing a good job so far mitigating the landing deductions. He's not eliminating them altogether. The exception, of course, being a beautiful dismount. But he did a great job on the on all of his other passes of keeping the deductions small.
Absolutely, and that's
it's the
huge.
next best thing.
Absolutely, because every landing, if everyone else is taking 3/10 and you're only taking 1 per pass, you're going to be up almost an entire point right there. All right, finishing out this routine.
Ezekiel Eason for the Bandits.
Let's see what he's got right here. The Bandits are definitely strong on parallel bars.
The Bandits had a very impressive P-bar rotation. And again, as a younger team, I think they have a little bit more incentive to go and start putting out some of the bigger skills where maybe the consistency isn't perfect yet, but it's got that wow factor to it.
Absolutely. They're out here, they're getting the experience of competing in a team atmosphere instead of the individual that you see so much in the juniors, and Ezekiel finishes off very strong for Bay Area Bandits. All right, that puts Flight B rotation 4 in the book. So if you look at the top of the screen, that is our current leaderboard. Arizona started that end run on rings, and man, they kept it going on vault, picking their lead up to 10 points. That's a huge, huge gap right now, but it can all be given away. We've seen leads bigger than this given away, but we are seeing some of the teams kind of separate out. Arizona 215.8, Washington Huskies 205.15, but Temple staying in it right now at a 201.95. This is going to be an interesting battle to watch right here. You know, we've got 2 events left. Temple's going to have to work real hard to catch up to Washington, but they're going to have to keep Iowa at bay. Iowa, the defending national champions with a 200.55. They've got something to prove here with less than a point there in between them and, I'm sorry, a little over a point between them and Temple. Iowa definitely wants back on that podium, but SCU is only 2/10 behind them. It's going to be a big fight. And then Rocky Mountain Mavericks rounding out the top 6 with a 198.3 there. You know, I think Arizona's a long ways out. I think they would have to have some real big stumbles here to fall off that top. But the Huskies down to Rocky Mountain, that's a tight battle.
Yeah, you've got Southern California, and you're really nipping at the heels of Iowa and Temple there. Even with a rough high bar rotation, they are still in a pretty good standing. We'll have to see how they pull together for their last 2 events.
Absolutely, and I mean, Rocky Mountain all the way up to Washington is only 7 points, and we just watched Arizona pick up 5 points of rotation. So really, anything can still happen here in the next 2. All right, we are headed into rotation 5, Flight A. We are going to watch SC United taking to the floor exercise. Temple is going to be headed to Pommel Horse. This could make or break their end run here to stay on the podium. New York Alliance is going to Rings, which is a stronger event for them. Minnesota headed to Vault, which could also be a great rotation. Georgia United taking to the parallel bars, and the Mavericks take on high bar. And the Mavericks, if you've kept an eye on the GymACT YouTube channel, you know the Mavericks know how to stick high bar dismounts.
All right, we have Eric Sherbert starting things off for Southern California United on the floor. Nate Davies for Temple on the pommel horse. Adam Berger getting prepared over on the still rings. Hayden Paravicino over for Minnesota. I hope I said that right. Ray Bridges for Georgia United on the parallel bars. Getting ready. And Nathan Yaris for the Mavericks. Already swinging up on the high bar.
Let's see what we got here. We got 4 routines up.
High flying stuck dismount for Nathan over on the high bar.
That was a solid routine.
Great start.
And I don't know what's in the water up there in Colorado, but man, those guys do know how to stick. New York up with a strong start right there. Great cross position from Adam Berger. Man, these guys are all flying. It's super exciting. We're sitting here watching 6 routines at the same time, and it's hard to keep up with everything going on. Giant Diom from Ray Bridges from Georgia United.
That is a cool skill.
Fantastic gymnastics going on here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Definitely want to give a shout out to AAI, the equipment company providing the equipment for today's competition, making sure everything's completely fair. Love AAI. They're an all-American company based out of Jefferson, Iowa. Crazy thing about AAI, all this stuff is hand manufactured in Jefferson, Iowa. All right, headed over to Vault, Owen Frank.
All right, nice high-flying Kazumatsu Vault. You'll be seeing a lot of those today. And Eric Sherbert starts off with a very strong routine on the floor.
All right.
Southern California is bringing some heat today, I'll tell you what.
Absolutely. Jared Holmes taken on Pommel Horse for Temple Owls. As Marshall Burrows takes on High Bar for the Mavericks. Let's see what we got here. Oh.
Jared Holmes getting snagged up on the pommels, swinging really well up until then. It's the hard thing about pommels, it takes one bad hand placement. You know, sometimes that's all it happens.
Absolutely. An eighth of an inch difference puts you on the floor. All right.
All right, David Niemi for New York Alliance.
All right, as Eric Chan from SCU takes to the floor exercise. See what he's got for a mount. Full twisting double tuck with a small hop back. Jared Holmes back on the leather for the Owls. Ooh, good save from Eric Chan there on floor as Jeremiah Holmes takes to Georgia United on the parallel bars.
And there goes a high-flying Kazumatsu 1.5 vault from Kelvin Ryan from Minnesota.
Fantastic vault. Great middle of the pack guy right there that's going to carry strong as he's got 2 more teammates to go.
All right, a nice, clean, simple finish there with Jeremiah Holmes on the parallel bars.
As Ryan Karan takes to the high bar for the Mavericks. Let's see if the Mavericks can keep laying some pipe here.
All right, you gotta watch the catch angles on that full spin. In my opinion, one of the most easily deductible skills on the high bar. It is just so hard to catch that up on top.
Absolutely, you've got to start so early to stay on top of it. All right, here we go. Evan from Minnesota. Ooh, just sneaks his feet under him. Great fight for that landing as Blake Hazel takes to the pommel horse for Temple.
I think he's gonna be one to watch. You can see how easy and how light he swings. He'll probably be a good watch.
Absolutely.
It's a nice Magyar.
New York Alliance taking on a strong ring rotation. Ooh, caught his foot on that horse. Is he gonna have to repeat it?
My opinion is yes, yep.
Yep, you see the judge there on the left shaking his head no, which means he's gonna have to get back up and repeat it. That is so tough to do. All right, Ajith from SCU taking the floor exercise. Big double back on still rings from New York, tries to fight for the landing and just comes in short.
All right, and a Jude Norris there on the vault for Minnesota.
All right, Minnesota finishes a strong vault rotation. All right, solid dismount there from Blake Hazel on Temple Owls there. Way to jump back up and finish strong. That's so hard to do, like we've been talking about all night long.
All right, we've got Coulter Schaefer up next on the high bar for the Mavericks.
Now Arnold from Georgia United waiting to get that salute from the judge. Mavericks take back to high bar. Jeeth coming in strong. Should be coming in for his dismount here on floor for SCU. Let's see if he can find a stick after that rough high bar rotation. Big double full.
There it is.
That's gorgeous. SCU really has been working on their landings this year, and it shows. Small hop forward for
Coulter Schaefer.
Yep,
on the high bar. All right, and we've got Noah Arnold up next on the parallel bars.
So who's got as Zach Raymond takes to the leather for the Temple Owls.
A little slow on the catch there on that peach. It's a harder one. You really got to get those hips to drop back quick on the drop in, or you just don't really get a lot of rise on the other side.
Absolutely, and especially now we're in rotation 5. These guys have been in the building for probably close to 4 hours already, going hard, so they've got to work really hard on their mental state right there. Great routine from Noah, just pikes down the dismount and sets it down.
And just about the same thing happens there on the rings from Brandon Siroff.
All right. Alexander Kotnick from SCU taking to the floor exercise. Coming out strong.
And a stuck 2.5. Very, not a difficult skill to do, but a very difficult one to land clean.
And that's
blind
because
landing.
Coming in blind, you don't get to watch landing. Another stick. from Alexander as Dyson Addist takes to the high bar for the Mavericks. Oh, and just puts that Tkachev over. No, Carl, we have seen a lot of missed releases today, which is very, very unusual for the GymACT circuit as a whole, let alone for a national championships.
Yep, there's something in the air, and it unfortunately isn't doing these athletes any favors on the high bar.
Stefan Rathbone finishing up strong for Temple. Let's see if he can keep his feet clear. He does. Very, very nice.
360 dismount.
All right, Alexander from SCU laying down a beautiful floor routine here. And that's another stick for Rocky Mountain. Dyson for Rocky Mountain on high bar.
Alexander Kotnick with a stuck double full for Southern California United.
He stuck every pass.
Not quite. I think he stuck his first two and his dismount. The ones in the middle, I think, small hops.
Okay, all right.
But excellent landing control overall.
All right, Aaron Weinberg was on parallel bars there for Georgia United. I'm really curious to see what that score comes back from Alexander. Very, very little deduction there.
And here goes Ryan Dugan on the rings with a beautiful Maltese hold.
And this
is
a
little bit short. Although I think that maybe the holds are being a little generous with the holds. Because I'm seeing very few true 2-second holds. Although it seems like we're not really paying for it much today.
Yep, and that's just some of the sport. You know, it's a subjective sport. Sometimes they hit hard, sometimes they don't.
And it depends on, when does, different judges start counting at different places, Usually you got to come to that full rest before you start.
Yep. And, the biggest thing to talk about in judging is that no matter what they're doing, if they're judging a little harder on something or a little softer, as long as they're
consistent.
Absolutely.
As long as they're consistent. Beautiful stuck dismount to wrap off a nice rings routine from Ryan Dugan.
All right. This is Troy Mendelson on floor. Alexander Kotnick only bringing in a 12.2 on floor. I was expecting that to be a little bit higher there.
Mendelson looking for some redemption after a rough rotation on the high bar. So far, so good. Troy's a strong guy, powerful guy. If he can keep his landings in check, I think he's going to put up a good routine.
SCU definitely did a great job of just calming it down in the warm-up gym. Their floor rotation has been awesome. So far, none of these teams have had a rough rotation that they haven't been able to fight back for. Troy Mendelson finishing up rotation 5 for flight A there on the floor exercise. All right, we're about to rotate back. Flight A is going to go back and start warming up their 6th and final routine. This is it. Their season ends in about 30 minutes. Rotation 5, Flight B, is about to rotate out into the competition gym. This is huge. We have 12 rotations of men's college gymnastics going on right here. Iowa takes to floor exercise. Definitely have some big routines to watch there. Washington is headed to pommel horse. This is going to be their make or break right here. If they can get an end run on Arizona, it's going to happen right here on pommel horse. Texas Armadillos head to still rings. Northern Illinois University takes to the vault as Arizona State men's gymnastics takes to the parallel bars. Kansas City and the Bay Area Bandits take to high bar. This is going to be an exciting rotation. Rotation 5 and 6 is where these guys start to really let their emotions go, and they start risking it because they know where they're standing. They're either on top and they're going to push really, really hard to stay there, or they know they're a little behind, which means they got to go hard and they got to go fast.
Now, pommel horse for Washington has been one of their most improved events in the past couple of years. We saw them hit pretty good at Westerns. I'm hoping they can keep up that momentum. Let's see. Arizona on the parallel bars can put up some really good routines. Got away from them a little bit a few weeks ago. I'm sure they've spent a lot of time working and refining those routines. I think we can expect a lot of good showing from both.
Absolutely. This is going to be an exciting rotation. And Iowa is not somebody to count out on floor exercise, that's for sure. All right, here we go. Starting off, Nolan Detsch from Iowa, starting off strong. Let's see what he's got for him as Riley Lyman starts off for Washington. Kelly North on the still rings there for the Texas Armadillos. As Ian Fackler is going to start off for NIU on vault. Blake Tingzon, senior team captain from Arizona State, is going to be starting off on parallel bars as Chance Brogan from Kansas City is going to be starting off on high bar.
Riley Lineman fighting through a rough carrying skill there in the middle. He's got his momentum back good, brings the dismount up nice. Really good job fighting through. He snagged his circle though right as he got into his circles there on handles after the Bailey. Brought it back nice.
Definitely kept his feet clear of that horse.
Right. And there's an overpowered souffle there on the vault. It's unfortunately a little bit too easy on some of those simpler vaults to actually put a little bit too much power into it if you're looking for the landing a little more than you should be.
Absolutely, and it's real easy to bring those feet in front of you rather than under you. Nolan starting off strong for Iowa on floor exercise.
And Chance Brogan long on the throw for Kansas City on high bar.
Huge Healy to support there from Blake on parallel bars. He's going to solid routine, studs straight to handstand. Very, very nice front uprise, showing off that mana position. Zach McHugh coming in hot on vault.
And a beautiful double pike dismount. Nearly stuck. And I got to say, there's something about the uprise that pops up to a nice mana before it kicks out. It's got a look to it. And I think he's pretty happy with that routine if I had to take an educated guess.
So say, Carl, I don't think he liked that routine at all, actually. Definitely showing off that emotion, showing off how much work goes into these routines and how much emotion is out on that floor tonight.
All right. Maroon GymACT up on the pommel horse for Washington. And fights through. A little rough on the rhythm, but he stays on the horse. And again, staying on the horse is half the battle.
All right, Jonathan from Iowa trying to capitalize on what his teammate started him with. Braden from the Armadillos trying to do the same thing there. As Malcolm Moore comes in on vault here for NIU. Another big souffle, and that is a solid, clean stick. That is going to score very, very nice for NIU. Malcolm picking up for his teammate that set his first one down. That's what you like to see right there. Andrew Fincher taking to the parallel bars for Arizona.
All right, Whippet or Yamawaki. People always call it Yamawaki because it shows a lot of similarities with the same skill on high bar. Very valuable skill, very difficult to pull off. Takes a lot of strength in that upper arm position.
Nice and calm through his peach, hitting his L seat. All right. Andrew from Bay Area getting ready to start their 5th rotation of their first ever national championships. Huge front full from Arizona State right there as Andrew Fincher just stomps a beautiful parallel bar routine. That's going to help their lead for sure.
And here goes Andrew Lehman on the pommel horse for Washington.
That was Jacob Miller on vault for NIU with a beautiful stuck Kazumatsu. All right, Gabe Fry getting ready to take to the floor for Iowa.
All right, Andrew Lehman swinging well.
Fighting that dismount up there for Washington.
All right, and gets credit for the dismount. You can see the nod there from the judge.
All right, Dylan McConkey up on up on still rings for the Armadillos. Solid set so far. Let's see if he can find a strong dismount here as Gabe Fry starts off for Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa, like you said, has put up some great stuff on floor so far.
All right, Caden Peacock getting ready to take on parallel bars for Arizona State. This can be another big routine for them. All right, NIU, Micah Puckett getting ready to put down their final vault of the 5th rotation. Andrew Fincher putting up a 13.65 for Arizona State.
And that is a short landing on the vault over there from Micah Puckett.
Which is a bummer. It looked like it was going to be a real nice vault. They were going to only have to count one fall, and then he just got amped and put his feet out in front of him. But that, as they say, is just gymnastics.
Nice combo pass there from Iowa's Gabe Fry.
All right.
And an overcooked dismount over on the parallel bars, it looks like, from Caden Peacock.
And then Evan just put a beautiful half Takamoto right-hand side, got a little loose on it because I don't think he was quite expecting to be all the way up there. But man, the Bandits have definitely have some stuff to work with here. They just need the depth. All right, Sergey from Texas up on the still rings.
And it looks like we have Bradley Stroud up for Washington on the pommel horse. Bradley's really proved himself this year as an all-around athlete, and look at that beautiful dismount.
Double twisting, double layout from the Bay Area Bandits there on high bar. Evan just going off for his teammates. Holy cow.
And that was a stuck, full twisting, double layout.
From Sergey on the armadillos. That was a huge routine.
That's right. D value dismount, I believe.
Yes, I believe you're correct.
All right, so he will get so for a C value dismount, that's kind of where it starts, 2/10 bonus, right? So with the D value, you're gaining a 10th bonus from the difficulty and also an extra 10th for the stick bonus, yeah?
Correct.
So that would put that at 2/10 more valuable than a stuck C dismount.
Absolutely. Vinny Calismo right here from Arizona State, senior team captain on parallel bars. That was a 1.5 twisting double tuck from Iowa. Cole Jans on floor.
With a cold stick.
A little loose in the air there on that, but solid. He's coming out strong. Back half front full there. He's got some connections. Let's see if Vinny down there on parallel bars, bottom middle. Huge double pike and just stumbles it backwards.
All right, Washington's Carter Hawthorne putting up a beautiful pommels routine. You can see head coach Jeff Crockett. I think you probably liked that one.
A little bit, and you could hear it in the background of our microphones. We're sitting very close to the pommel and ring seating corrals.
That was the pommel routine they were waiting for.
Dallas Hale taking to the rings for the armadillos. Little high on that straight body plunge there, and then forward rolling out of it. One of my favorite transitions on rings.
And some beautiful Yamawaki and Giannisson work.
Very, very nice routine from Cole Jans for Iowa. Iowa's definitely keeping a dog in this fight. Beautiful giant work there from Dallas Hale.
It looks like we've got an exhibition routine here from Xander Agate on the pommel horse.
As Albert Chang takes the high bar for the Bandits. Very
I gotta
nice.
say, I like the amount of the German Giant work that I've seen and the German Giant Tkachev release. We saw that from Will Pierce a little bit earlier today. I think one of the most rarely seen release moves on high bar, and we've seen two of them in one day.
All right, Hunter Burnett taking to the parallel bars for Arizona State. This is a big routine. Keep your eyes on that bottom center right there. Albert Chang finishing up strong for the Bandits on high bar.
Nice extended catch on the peach to handstand. Very difficult to do.
Got his hand hung up a little bit on that giant, but kept it under control. Puts the Stutz straight to handstand. Big dismount.
And
to
a stuck dismount.
Beautiful, beautiful routine from Hunter Burnett.
So again, if you do the math on that dismount really quick, over somebody who's just going for the minimum, going for the C and trying to get a clean stick from that, how many tenths over is he on that?
So he just put himself 3 tenths over because he gets an extra 10th for, 2 tenths over because he gets an extra 10th for the D, but he also gets an extra 10th for that stick. That's huge. And we see a lot more guys just risking it for the biscuit a little bit on that one. And then on floor, we've got Schaffner coming in for Iowa. They've had a strong rotation. Let's see if he can capitalize on that as Carlos Hernandez takes to the rings for the Armadillos. Got 3 routines left in this rotation. Hunter Flesching is going to be taken to the parallel bars for Arizona. Ooh, a little crooked there from Iowa on the floor exercise. Just dumping his shoulder back, but staying calm and keeping it under control.
Yeah, being able to bounce back from one rough pass. And so floor is kind of like, if you look at, so we say these competitions, you got to take things an event at a time. If you can condense that down to a single event. Floor, you got to take things a pass at a time. You got to kind of keep them separate from one another, you know? Be able to bounce back from one rough pass and try to wrap it up because the rest of the routine could still be salvageable.
Absolutely. All right, final routine of rotation 5 from Flight B. Hunter Flesching right here on the parallel bars. Ooh,
and
just
gets hung up on the heel.
It's important to note that's going to be a 5/10 deduction. It's not a full fall because all he did was take an extra swing. But now, like we've been talking about all night, he's got to calm down because now the negative things that can flood into your head and the emotion that can flood in at this point is so much. It's so unbearable. Huge double back, and he controls it so well. Great fight back from Hunter right there. All right, we're done with rotation 5 right there. Flight B is headed back to the warm-up gym. Top of the board right there. We've got some interesting changes to our standings going on up there. Arizona extending their lead to a 268.75. They're running away with it for sure, but again, it can all be given up on high bar with some missed releases. Washington, 253.6, with Iowa dialing them in, pulling their lead back to only, 2.6, 151.0, but SCU, 249.1. They're keeping the pressure on right there. And then Temple falling back to a 5th place there at a 246.35, with Minnesota now on the heels of Temple. These top 6 teams have just been jumping around like crazy. It's going to be real interesting to see how they handle their final rotation. Also, absolutely love that USA Gymnastics has partnered up with GymACT to provide such a high-quality event for national championships. There are almost 200 athletes in GymACT now, and it is so fantastic that the juniors here at Developmental Program Nationals for USA Gymnastics get this opportunity to look out and see what GymACT's all about and see where they're headed in the future of their routine and get motivated as the juniors head into their finals tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. You know, it's a lot has changed since my days. When I was a junior looking at going to college, I didn't know that the Washington team even existed until we ran into a recruiter just kind of randomly at a meetup in Oregon, you know? So to see the kind of publicity that these teams are getting now with the junior athletes just being able to come in and watch them on site is fantastic.
Absolutely. And it helps a lot of these junior athletes. The really cool thing about the GymACT program is that you just have to be continuing your education. You don't actually have to be going to a set designated college. So if maybe, the 4-year university route isn't for you and you want to go become a welder, or you want to take into a trade, or you want to, start your own business and take very specific business classes and things, you can do that while continuing your gymnastics career.
Right.
All right. 6th rotation, Flight A. This is it. Their season is over in 5 routines. From Rocky Mountain Mavericks starting on floor, Nathan Yaros from SC United, William Pierce going to pommel horse here, Ben from Temple starting on the rings, Ethan Rio from New York starting on vault, Brandon Kim from Minnesota starting him off on parallel bars, and Levi from UIC finishing out his performance here today with a big laid out full out.
That's right. Now, I've said it a couple times already today, and I'm going to say it again. Will Pierce is going to be the guy to watch here in just a couple of minutes. The guy's got style, and it shows a lot. He's got a lot of flared elements there on the pommel horse. He'll be a fun one to watch.
Ben from Temple there with a big back 1.5, very unique dismount there on the still rings. That's another thing I love about GymACT is we're seeing a lot of gymnastics that you may not normally see.
We had Will Pierce going through a swinging on the phantom pommel there as the judges get ready for him.
All right, let's see what he's got here for SCU.
Also going on the vault right now, Adrian Arena with a nice high-flying cause. Little pike down on landing.
A solid start from New York. All right, big flare work.
Now, Will's a big guy, too. He's kind of like, he's got a big wingspan, and so getting his hands around those handles really is not much of a struggle for him.
Not at all.
It looks almost effortless.
We don't see this flare work nearly as much anymore, and he is using it for everything, all the way up, bobble on the dismount, but keeps his feet free. Nice 360 right there.
And a high-flying double back on the floor there from Marshall Burrows.
All right, as Will finishes up, A.J. Robinson's going to be taking over on the pommel horse for SCU. Aaron Weinberg from Georgia United winding up here. Big dismount to a solid stick from Georgia. Owen Frank taking to the parallel bars. It's going to be one to watch from Minnesota. Ryan Bistro on vault from New York. Nice laid out Sukahara there with just a small step on that dismount.
Jason Wenzel on the rings for Temple, doing a good job of making sure he's holding those holds. And a beautiful stuck dismount to wrap it up.
Wow, Marshall Burroughs from the Mavericks gets hung up in his double full and just stays calm and finds a stick anyways. Owen Frank finishing out strong on parallel bars for Minnesota. All right, Ryan Dugan from New York Alliance right here on vault. Let's see what he's got. New York's only got 2 routines left in their 2023 National Championship performance, so they've got to be big here.
And overcooked the cause full.
Looks so good in the air, so good on the run, so good on the approach. Everything looks so just right there. And like we said earlier, sometimes it's so hard to not pike those hips back and stick your hips behind your feet and just send it around.
That's right.
All right, they have 1 left on vault. So we'll see if they can finish with a solid vault here from New York. All right, as David Abe takes to the floor for Rocky Mountain Mavericks. All right.
Looks like we've got another free hit mount cooking up over here with Minnesota.
Kellen Ryan on Minnesota here. Solid guy. He's had a great day so far today.
Will Pierce putting up a 12.95 on the pommel horse from Southern California. Solid score.
That is a very solid score.
And here goes his teammate, AJ Robertson.
Taking to the rings for the Owls, Josh Moore.
All right, and there is some one pommel work that we haven't seen much of today. It's called a flop.
Aiden Whitehead for Georgia United. Big double back. Small step on the dismount. Georgia United's been looking real clean. They've got some difficulty to work on, but definitely very, very clean gymnastics from them so far today as AJ Robinson from from SC United comes off the horse. Josh Moore from Temple showing off that 5/10 cross bonus. I believe every team has done something to take advantage of that. It's a big, big change to the rules. Big double back to a solid stick from Josh. That was a great routine for the Temple Owls.
AJ Robertson preparing to finish up his routine here on the pommels.
And again, has to stay calm. Coming off on horse, you can be so frustrated, but you've got to be able to calm that down to finish strong for your team.
Now, to his credit, he has got a nice swing going. Good position, good rhythm. We're going to see if he caught his foot on the dismount.
Coulter Schaefer starting off strong for the Mavericks on floor. Looks like AJ from SCU got credit for his dismount.
Jeremiah Holmes up on the high bar here for Georgia United. Nice vault catch to start.
As Hayden from Minnesota gets ready to take to the bars. Jeremiah, big double back, small step. You know, I think so far Georgia United has taken the least landing deductions on high bar. They've either stuck or it's only probably a 1/10. I don't think I've seen a 3 from our angle at all. Coulter finishing up strong on floor for the Mavericks.
And Hayden Perversino wraps things up beautifully on the parallel bars for Minnesota.
Very nice. All right, we're coming down to
not quite wrapped up. It's like they got Jude Norris up last.
And this is it. These guys are, this is it. This is the end of their season right here. These teams have 1 routine left. They're putting every ounce of energy they can into them as Alex takes to the rings for Temple. Dyson Addist will be the Mavericks' final competitor of their 2023 season here on the floor exercise.
They start off with a nice front double full. Little hop on the landing. It'll cost them about 3/10.
Ray Bridges jumping up on a high bar for Georgia United as they finish out their first official season as a GymACT team. Let's see what he can do to end their season right here.
Starts off with a nice catch and swing out of his Yamawaki. So a lot of times you'll see guys do a nice release, but bring it in a little close and get bent arms and some form breaks on the giant out of it. Does a good job of keeping it clean. Here goes a big double-double laid out dismount and a small hop.
Georgia coming out strong, looking way, way stronger than I would have expected after seeing them last year. Oh, no credit for Ajith on that dismount. He kept his feet free of the horse, but definitely did not hit handstand. So he's going to have to take that 30 seconds and repeat it as Jude Norris from Minnesota takes to parallel bars.
With an unconventional skill. You don't see that one hardly at all these days. it's nice to see these kind of underappreciated skills popping up every now and then.
Absolutely. All right, Ajith finishing up strong for SCU on horse. Dyson finishing up the Mavericks 2023 performance. You see all the juniors in the crowd. If you look at that vault camera, looking for that free t-shirt. Jude Norris finishing up strong for Minnesota. They are locked and dialed right there for their 2023 season. Wrapping it down here, looking for Nate DeVries from Temple to finish out Temple's performance here. And we've been talking about them all night. I feel so bad. I definitely did not have them counted into the top 3, and they've been fighting hard to find their way there.
They punished us for it for sure.
All right, we're down to the last couple routines of Flight A, rotation 6. Let's see what we've got here. Nice straight plunge there. Swing into it, showing command. Mickey from SCU takes to the leather. Wow, camped out on that single pommel. Ooh, got in a little trouble there and stayed calm. Great mitigation there on pommel horse. All right, let's see what Nate can do to end the Temple Owls season right here.
And Mickey just gets his hands there off the back of the horse. So he's going to take his 30 seconds there.
Temple.
As Temple wraps up with a beautiful routine there from Nate Davies. That is exactly the finish they were looking for.
You can hear his team in the background. They are so excited for that. And that's part of what I love about this community is they just get so hyped for each other. All right, we have 3 routines left from Flight A, rotation 6 here. Let's see what Mickey can do for a dismount. Foot tapped a little bit, but I don't think it interrupted. Nod from the judge, definitely got credit. 2 routines left. Eric Chan from SCU will be next up on pommel horse. SCU's definitely had a little bit of a tougher rotation here on horse, and if they want to overtake Iowa and try to find a way onto that podium, they're going to need a strong finish here from Eric, and then we're going to see an exhibition set for the all-around from Troy Mendelson after that.
Yeah, when you get into these last couple rotation, it really becomes a battle of endurance. You know, there are a lot of teams that'll start out really strong, and when you get into those last 2, you start to see a few more slip-ups and a couple more, and more rough sets.
Absolutely. It's a fight hard. Ooh, hung up a little bit there from Eric. Let's see if he can fight back out, pushes his hips open. Solid swing. You can see he's picking up steam. He knew after he gets hung up like that, he's gotta carry some momentum through the end of the routine. Up on the 1 pommel, up for the dismount. Feet stay clear. Solid set from Eric. Way to finish SC United's season right there. SCU is another one of those teams that they've been building, and they're showing that they aren't at the bottom anymore. They are definitely in this fight to be on the podium here at GymACT Nationals in the next year or 2.
Absolutely.
Right. Troy Mendelson from SCU out for an all-around set, which means that this routine will not count for the team score. He's out here trying to stay in the all-around title. So we'll see what he's got right here as he is done competing for his team this season, but he is competing for his own personal glory. Let's see what he's got. It's been a great evening of gymnastics here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Absolutely, it was a heated competition all the way through. Arizona's definitely got a pretty comfortable lead. We've got a lot of teams fighting there for that 2nd and 3rd place spots. Not much between those 4 teams up there at the front.
Absolutely, and it's going to be real interesting to see what Flight B does when they come out here. And this is the problem with being Flight A. They're done. They're going to have to wait another half hour and just watch that scoreboard with intense anticipation to see what those last 6 teams are going to do. All right, Troy, taking to the pommel horse for SCU and his all-around performance. Nice big open swing. Even though this isn't for the team, you hear his team in the background supporting him. Ooh, solid save there. Supposed to step all the way over that pommel.
And a hip catches the horse there, the handle.
That's so hard to do on horse. Out of all the routines, I think when you have any kind of a rough bobble in the middle, it's so hard to recover it on horse. Troy did a great job of recovering it, and then that hip just barely caught. And this is what we talked about earlier, Carl, is, half an inch decides a full point on pommel horse for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely the event with the least margin of error. It is a battle of balance and rhythm. And if you lose one of those two things, you know, you can be off in a heartbeat.
Solid finish from Troy right there. It's still going to be a decent score as he finished strong on pommel horse there. All right, Flight A is locked and dialed. A 296.1 from Minnesota. We're going to see where that puts him. A 295.65 from Temple. I don't think that's going to be able to keep them on the podium, but a great showing for the first 3 or 4 rotations. I think Temple did here what Texas did in at Western Conference Championships.
I think so. They had a fantastic first 3 rotations.
Yep, and then they just didn't quite have the steam to keep it up. 294.55 from SC United. Rocky Mountain Mavericks, 293.8. New York Alliance coming in with a 283.05, which honestly, from Newark, a newer team, not a lot of depth on that team. That is a solid score. Definitely not out of the running here at National Championships. Arizona still holding on, even though they're in the other rotation, still holding on to that 6th spot with a 268.75. So we're going to see what they can do as we come in. All right, Flight A, locked, dialed, done. Their season is over. They now wait 30 minutes to find out their fate here at 2023 GymACT National Championships as we bring Flight B Rotation 6 back into the gym. Kansas City United and Bay Area Bandits will be taking on floor exercise. Florida Storm has their individual competitor up on pommel horse before Iowa GymACT team takes to the leather. Washington will be taking on still rings, another strong event for them as Texas Armadillos go to vault. Northern Illinois University will be taking on parallel bars as the defending, or I'm sorry, not the defending champs, but the king of GymACT. Arizona State is going to finish on high bar, and they have a solid high bar squad. So here we go. The fight to the end starts now. Kevin Jensen from Kansas City has already mounted floor. Cameron Wigner from Florida Storm is going to be starting us off on pommel horse. Riley Lineman, from Washington will be starting us off on rings as Braden from Texas Armadillos comes in hot on vault. Micah Puckett will be starting off NIU on parallel bars as Hunter Fleshing starts off Arizona State's 6th and final performance of the evening.
All right, lineman with some beautiful Yamawaki work on the rings. Riley Lineman's done a great job today of being a strong starter for Washington. He's done it a couple of times on several events. Let's see if he can do it one more time.
Micah Puckett on a strong start for NIU. They're on parallel bars as Hunter Fletching starts on a high bar for Arizona State.
And that is a beautiful stuck full twisting double back dismount and a fantastic start for Washington's rings rotation.
Washington saying we're not out of this yet. Fantastic as Florida Storm's Camden just gets hung up on the pommel there and comes off.
Nice high flying Tkachev there on the high bar from Hunter Fletcher.
Dylan McConkey from the Armadillos, beautiful laid out Kazumatsu, just takes a big step back. And that's a stuck dismount, stuck devalue dismount from Arizona State. And now that energy's up. I think they're going to roll, and I think their lead's going to get bigger. Florida Storm Camden coming in for a dismount, fighting to keep his feet free. But did he show support in the handstand?
I'm seeing a no from the judges.
He did not. He's got to repeat it one more time. All right, Elliot Foster getting ready to take to the high bar for Arizona State. It's Carlos Hernandez ready to go for the Texas Armadillos, bottom left-hand corner on vault. Asa Thompson, I apologize. Andrew Fairchild going to the floor exercise for Bay Area Bandits. Camden back up for Florida Storm, going back after that dismount.
Yeah, nice Hanma L hole from Drake Mizell on the rings for Washington.
Huge Yamawaki work there. No support over the top. It's exactly what they're looking for.
Drake's a very technically sound gymnast. He's got good lines. He's got a good swing.
Kurt Lawrence taking to the parallel bars for Northern Illinois. Another stuck dismount right there from Drake for Washington. They are piling through to the end here.
As I said, Washington is no stranger to being being the underdogs. You know, they're going to fight tooth and nail for this all the way through.
Absolutely. Elliot Foster getting ready to mount the assault from high bar for Arizona State.
And we got Nolan Deek on the pommel horse here for Iowa.
Sergey coming in for the Armadillos on vault. He's had a good day so far. Beautiful layout, causes a small step back. Dillas are keeping their name in the game here. Elliott on high bar for Arizona State. Fantastic start. Nolan coming in strong for his dismount. Staying calm and fighting it around. Great show from Iowa right there.
Arizona winding up for the dismount. What I anticipate is going to be another
stuck dismount right there. Elliott Foster, they've started the stick train. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, Arizona has their momentum going.
Andrew Kirshner from Bay Area Bandits jumping in here. On floor exercise. We go on vault. Dallas Hale, Yurchenko. 2.5 twists and just sits it down. It looked like he was going for the stick and just sat back. All right. NIU, Zach McHugh taking to the parallel bars.
Nice giant.
As Xander Agate from Washington takes to the still rings. Raven Anderson taking to the pommel horse for Iowa GymACT. Solid crosswork there on still rings for the dogs.
Bounce cross two, brings it in nice and level, shows that open grip. Xander's a strong guy. Now he's going to have to work here to keep his endurance so that the last half of his routine, especially the dismount, doesn't get away from him.
Aiden Myers taking to the high bar for Arizona State. Big release, straddle Tkachev, hands right on, no questions.
I have to say Arizona seems dialed in today.
Yeah.
Whatever mistakes they had through Westerns, they have done a fantastic job of polishing those out in these past 2 weeks.
Absolutely. And sometimes that's what you need, licking your wounds, sometimes make you a little bit stronger. Big dismount from Washington to a stick. That is 3 in a row.
Not to be undone. Washington is matching Arizona's energy to a T. 3 stuck dismounts in a row.
Oh, there's a step from Aiden Myers on high bar. Washington's not going quietly. Jared Enyard from NIU taking to the parallel bars. Cole Jans for Iowa waiting to go on pommel horse. And Albert Chang from Bay Area Bandits waiting to go on floor. Armadillos are locked, 299.05. Man, they fought back real hard in the second 3. All right, let's see what parallel bars has for dismount here. Jared Enyard. Wow.
All right, nice double back. Big step out there on the P-bars.
Cole Jans putting down a solid pommel horse routine for his team right here. Traveling back, we should be seeing a dismount. Coming up, oh, that foot dragged. Those judges have been real tough on that today. Are they gonna give it to him? No, they are not. You see the head shake. Hunter Burnett on high bar for Arizona. This is definitely a crowd pleaser. Keep an eye right there. Oh, just misses his hand on that half tuck, but puts it back on.
And on the screen above him, Andrew Lehman for the Washington with a strong cross pull to L.
Another big shot with Tkachev from Hunter.
I say these two teams are matching each other's energy.
Absolutely, this is where it gets exciting. Team for team. Albert Chang on floor for Bay Area Bandits.
Arizona winding up for a big dismount. Beautiful half-half.
Just a step back there, not bad.
And the dismount from Andrew Lehman, 1.5 twisting double full, or double back, excuse me.
And Jacob Miller, Northern Illinois University, finish out strong here on parallel bars in their final performance of their 23 season, as Gabe Fry from Iowa is ready to finish up on pommel horse. All right, we're down to a couple more routines left in the 23 season. Let's see how this thing ends. Jacob Miller finishing out NIU strong. Gabe Fry taking to the pommels for Iowa. That's right. You hear the Arizona guys in the background getting everybody hyped up, getting the crowd engaged.
Iowa's Gabe Fry putting up a nice routine there on the pommel horse.
Solid day for Gabe today. All right, Brody Lusk from Washington Huskies waiting to go as Caden Peacock from Arizona Jumps up to the high bar.
These will be two good routines to watch for sure. We know Brody's a strong guy who has some great strength elements to show off.
And there's a reason Caden is the last guy up for Arizona. He's known to hit as Evan from Bay Area takes to the floor to end their season. Oh no, Caden coming out early. Wow. Just let the pressure get to him. He was trying to be too perfect and just came out too shy of that handstand. Thankfully, they have 4 solid routines under him. Huge routine there from Bay Area Bandits.
Brody Lux's first element. Beautiful straight flange. Brody's strength and flange and Maltese strength.
Words are hard.
They are. Flange and Maltese strength is second to none.
Rafe Schaffner from Iowa taking the horse to finish out their second season. They are the defending national champions, so we'll see if they can find the podium here.
And Caden Peacock is back on the high bar. Looks like he is going to repeat the talk half element right here.
Beautiful.
Brings it on top of the bar that time.
Rafe Schaffner finishing out Iowa. They are locked and dialed. Big release move from Caden. Very nice.
Brody Luss fighting for his handstand on the rings.
Here we go. Dismount for dismount. Lusk, big double back to a solid stick. Evan, big double full, just hops back. Here it is, final routine, GymACT 2023 Nationals. Ends with a small step. Caden Peacock putting up a great routine. And I apologize, we do have one final routine of national championships.
We've got Bradley Stroud as an exhibition for Washington on the ring. So Bradley is competing for an all-around score at a shot at placing in the all-around. So his score will not count for Washington. Again, it will count only towards him. However, I know, knowing them, Washington will be rooting for him as loud as they can, just the same.
Absolutely. It's been an exciting championships. You look at the top of the screen there, and oh my gosh, the Armadillos snuck in. They did the opposite of what they did at Westerns. They were a little shaky to start, and they were kind of out of the ball game for a little bit, and then man, oh man, did they fight back to find that podium. So right now, it looks like Arizona is going to retake their title they lost last year. The Huskies bounce back with a strong second, but Texas Armadillos, you can't count them out. 12.45 from Caden Peacock on high bar.
And here goes Bradley Stroud. It looks like the final routine of the evening.
So we got beautiful front of Drysdale, group 3. That swing to strength element.
It's Yamawaki Pike, Yamawaki Tuck, staple of any rings routine.
You can hear his teammates in the background just absolutely going nuts for him. Arms staying free of the straps there in that handstand.
Catches a strong handstand. Bradley's been a strong all-arounder for Washington the entire year. He's going for a good finish here. Beautiful stuck landing, and he does it.
And you know what? I may be from Arizona, but there's just nothing like finishing a national championships with a solid stuck dismount. So ladies and gentlemen, it looks like that scoreboard up on top of your screen is locked in. And you know what? Our pre-predictions, we had Minnesota in there, we had Iowa in there, but we did not. And actually, we had Armadillos in there, but Temple was the one that surprised us today. You know, I definitely knew that they were going to be in this, but didn't know they were going to be in it nearly as hard as they were. So Arizona State men's gymnastics is going to reclaim what I believe is their 26th national title. Washington Huskies bringing in a solid second with the Armadillos chomping on their heels. Those Armadillos give them another year or two to find some depth, and they're going to be dangerous. Minnesota coming in strong, fighting hard for that end spot with Temple University not far behind them, and Iowa not far behind them. Less than 4 points separate 3rd through 6th. This was an amazing competition. These guys fought so hard. Thank you all so much for watching. Carl, what do you think we're going to see going into the 2024 season?
Well, I think we can expect more of the same from the two oldest programs. You know, Washington, Arizona, they're dialed in. You know, they're getting depth. They're kind of, you know, it's just polishing and getting that difficulty up. Okay. A lot of these other teams, Texas, Temple, Iowa, Minnesota, they've got depth. They're getting depth. They're getting difficulty. They've got some dialing in to do. They've got some polishing to do for sure. but I can see a lot of work being done over the summer that's going to tighten up that gap there.
Absolutely. All right, this has been 2023 GymACT National Championships. I want to say thank you to all of our partners, AAI for providing all the equipment, USAG for helping us out, and the Flip Now team here helping us out, bring this great production to you guys. This has been GymACT National Championships. I'm Kevin Riggle on a call with Carl Meter, and Arizona State coming home with the King of GymACT title. We will see you guys back for the 2024 season. And don't go very far, because the Flip Now team is going to try to bring you guys the award ceremony right here. Keep all your TV sets, cameras, phones, whatever you're watching on to see the official award ceremony for the individuals and the teams. Congratulations to all the competitors and all the teams, and good luck in their training season to get ready for the 2024 season. The 2024 season starts on Monday.
We have a couple of very important awards to hand out. Presenting the Assistant Coach and Coach of the Year awards will be GymACT League Commissioner, Mr. Mark Bogajay. These two awards are voted on by all the GymACT coaches. These coaches are recognized for their outstanding contributions to the sport and their impact on the growth of GymACT. Our 2023 GymACT Assistant Coach, or should I say, Assistant Coaches of the Year, are the Assistant Coaches from Arizona State University. Jeff Robinson and Brian Kern. Congratulations. And our 2023 GymACT Head Coach of the Year, Jesse Gibson-Abelstein from Temple University.
Congratulations, Jess. Bravo.
Now if I can have Mark Bogajay and Dr. Sid Nussgruden report to the floor for the presentation of the M2 Award. We need Scott Burns to the judges' table, please. The NASA Natalie Award, commonly known as the M2 Award, was created in 2018 to recognize and honor the outstanding GymACT senior gymnast who has established an outstanding record of athletic and academic achievement during his college career along with demonstrating sportsmanship, community service, and leadership. The recipient's character in and out of the gym plays a big role in this prestigious award. More than simply an award for gymnastics excellence, the winner must also meet these qualifications. He must be an example of good sportsmanship and fair play, a champion in defeat as well as victory. He should maintain a high standard of scholarship throughout his collegiate career with a minimum of a B average. He may have suffered an adversity or personal tragedy, which he has managed to overcome without impacting his athletic performance. He may have served as a leader, either within or outside gymnastics. He may have served as a champion of gymnastics, working with the community or with youth to keep the sport of gymnastics vibrant and vital, spurring grassroots growth. Sid Nasaruni represents the N2 founders and will be presenting tonight's award. Sid was a walk-on member and manager of the Georgia Tech gymnastics team. He started his career in gymnastics photography after being sidelined with a back injury in 1984. He has been attending gymnastics meets and documenting gymnastics history ever since. After completing medical school, followed by a career in the U.S. Air Force, he completed a family medicine residency and sports medicine fellowship. He continues to support gymnastics through his photography and philanthropy. He currently practices emergency medicine and resides in Tennessee. The N2 Award is a collaboration between GymACT, Dr. Sid Nasaruni, and Dr. Jamie Natalie. Let's meet our 4 nominees for this year's N2 Award. Our first nominee is from Temple University, Jacob Diller. A talented gymnast and a dedicated student with a passion for medical research and emergency medicine. He is a 2-time co-captain of the Temple University gymnastics team, an All-American on both floor and high bar at the 2021 GymACT Nationals. Jacob has also set a high standard for the Temple program by scoring a 14.3 on vault at the NIU Invite in 2023, which was the highest program score since 2017. In addition to his athletic achievements, Jake has been actively involved in medical research as an academic associate and emergency room research assistant, and has also worked as a radiology technician. His impressive academic research background will serve him well as he pursues a career in medicine, specifically in emergency and trauma surgery. Our next nominee is Ruben Anderson from the University of Iowa. Ruben is a former member of the NCAA Iowa gymnastics team, who had his NCAA college career cut short in 2020 when Iowa dropped their program. Despite the setback, Ruben refused to give up on his passion for gymnastics and took matters into his own hands. During the summer of 2021, Ruben and several other former NCAA gymnasts formed the first Iowa GymACT team. They handled all of the necessary paperwork, business planning, and fundraising themselves, and they found coaches to help lead the team. Ruben and his teammates were determined to continue the history of Iowa gymnastics and pave the way for a new future as a GymACT team in Iowa. Last year, Ruben helped contribute to his team's victory at the GymACT National Championships in Mesa, Arizona, proving that their hard work and dedication paid off. Ruben's dedication to gymnastics is matched by his dedication to his education. He transferred from biomedical to chemical to industrial engineering, and he transformed his academic performance to making the Dean's List for 4 semesters in a row. Ruben credits GymACT for providing him with the flexibility to pursue his degree while continuing to participate in the sport he loves. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruben Anderson. Our next nominee team during his tenure. In 2021, Ryan won the parallel bars competition at Temple versus NYA dual meet, demonstrating his skills and talent in gymnastics. Ryan has also made significant contributions off the mat as well. He implemented and developed the NYA social media squad, which helped increase the team's presence and recruiting efforts. Additionally, he's fostered a positive team environment and developed a leadership role during his 5 years as team captain of NYA. Ryan's passion for gymnastics extends beyond his own performance and team leadership. He is also an accomplished junior Olympic judge, and he coaches both compulsory and optional athletes. Moreover, Ryan is a talented pole vaulter, achieving a career best height of 14 feet 6 inches. His commitment to both athletics and leadership suggests that Ryan is a well-rounded individual who excels both on and off the mat. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Bristow. Our final nominee is Yaroslav Owens-Borchina from the University of Minnesota. Yaroslav is a very balanced student athlete who has already achieved significant accomplishments in both academics and athletics. Currently, Yaroslav is in his second year of medical school at the University of Minnesota, where he's pursuing his passion for medicine. Yaroslav also has an impressive background in gymnastics. He graduated from the University of Minnesota in 2018 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Neurological Science with a 3.916 GPA, where he also competed as a member of the University of Minnesota men's gymnastics team as an undergraduate. During his time as a collegiate gymnastic, Yaroslav lettered every year and was a 4-time first-team CGA All-American Scholar Athlete. In 2016, he received the NCAA Elite 90 Award as the student athlete at the GymACT Championships with the highest GPA. He also helped lead his team to an incredible second-place finish in the NCAA team finals in 2018, finishing ahead of notable programs such as Illinois, Stanford, Nebraska, and Penn State. At the 2022 GymACT Nationals, Yaroslav continued to excel in gymnastics and earned his first national title as the GymACT National Champion on still rings. According to his coach, Mike Burns, Yaroslav is known for his dedication and hard work, both in the classroom and on the gym floor. With his impressive academic and athletic background, Yaroslav has shown what a GymACT student athlete can accomplish. Ladies and gentlemen, Yaroslav Owens-Borchina. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 Into Award recipients. Jacob Miller.
Let's go, baby!
Congratulations, all our award winners. Shall we do some results? Starting on the floor exercise. In 6th place, with a 13.2, Elliot Foster, Arizona State. Receiving 5th place with a 13.25, Nathan Euros from Mavericks. Receiving 4th place with a 13.35, Bradley Stroud from Washington. Receiving 3rd place with a 13.4, Caden Gigiolano from Arizona State. Receiving 2nd place with a 13.75, Jackson Harrison from Arizona State. And your floor exercise champion with a 14.05, Dallas Hale from Texas Armadillos. Congratulations, floor exercise winners. And on the pommel horse, in 6th place, Aiden Myers from Arizona State. Receiving 5th place, Hunter Burnett from Arizona State. In 4th place, William Pierce from SC United. Receiving 3rd place with a 13.2, Carter Hawthorne from Washington. Receiving 2nd place with a 13.4 is Clayton Cunningham from Arizona State. And the pommel horse champion with a 13.75, Dallas Hale from Texas Armadillos.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Sounds good. That's it.
Congratulations, pommel horse winners. Presents. And on the rings, we have a tie for 6th place. Jaroslav Owens-Pachinko from Minnesota and Xander Ege from Washington. Receiving 5th place, Eric Schubert from SC United. Receiving 4th place, Ryan Lyman from Washington. Receiving 3rd place with an 8.7, Ethan DiGirolamo from Arizona State. With a 13.6. Second place with a 13.85, Elliot Foster from Arizona State. And your rings champion with a 14.2, Dallas Hale from Texas Armadillos. These are your rings champions. Congratulations, gentlemen. Salute. Sixth place, Jacob Miller from Temple. Receiving fifth place with 14-2, Jackson Harrison from Arizona State. Receiving fourth place, Kellen Ryan, Minnesota. Receiving third place with a 14.35, Vinny Colasso from Arizona State. Receiving second place with a 14.4, Senator Baduli from Arizona State. And your vault champion with a 14.65, Andrew Lehman from Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, your vault winners. Salute. And on the B-bars in sixth place is Blake Kingston from Arizona State. We have a two-way tie for fourth with Ray Bridges from Georgia United and Andrew Lehman from Washington. With a tie for fourth place. Receiving third place with a 13.65, Andrew Fisher from Arizona State. Second place with a 13.85, Hunter Burnett from Arizona State. And your B-bar champion with a 14.6, Dallas Hale from Texas Armadillos. So let's hear it for our B-bar champions. Salute. We have a two-way tie for fifth place in the high bar. William Pierce from Southern California United and Jacob Miller from Temple. Fourth place, Hunter Burnett from Arizona State. Receiving third place with a 13.05, Elliot Foster from Arizona State. Receiving second place with a 13.15, Hunter Fleshing from Arizona State. And your high bar champion with a 13.8, Alan Hymanson from Bay Area Bandits. Congratulations, high bar winners. Salute. And in the all around, receiving sixth place, Hunter Fleshig from Arizona State. Fifth place, Nathan Uros from Mavericks. Receiving fourth place, Andrew Lehman from Washington. Third place with a 77.20, Bradley Stroud from Washington. Receiving second place with a 78.4, Evan Hymanson from Bay Area Bandits. And your all-around champion with an 81.5, Dallas Hale from Texas Armadillos. Ladies and gentlemen, represent our all-around winners. And in the team competition. We're going to do a little housework here. Make some room. How about it, folks? If you enjoyed this competition, our third place team will score 299.05. Texas Armadillos. Your second place team will score 305.55. Washington.
Great job, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, your team champions will score 320.2 is Arizona State. Let's put your hands together for our team winners. Great competition.
Congratulations to all the team. Hey, we're going to try and get a picture with all the GymACT guys on the mat. Somehow we're going to do it, so just stay there. Bart Connor is here. We really appreciate Bart being here. Thank you, Bart. And we saw this meet for the first time, so let's all get a picture. But in the meantime, as you guys are getting onto the mat, I would like to take 20 seconds and acknowledge a great gymnast coach that is moving on from us, Jeff Crockett. Raise your hand. Jeff was a gymnast back in 2000, and he's been involved in the University of the Washington team since 2000 as a gymnast, then as an assistant coach, and for the last 7 years he's been coaching the team, and the last, was it 3 years been head coach? So we just want to say big thanks to Jeff. He's moving over to Australia to help that program over there. We really appreciate him and what he's given to this program and the university. So thank you, Jeff Crockett.
And that's a wrap for this third GymACT National Championship. Congratulations to all of our teams, and thank you for being a great audience. Have a good night.